Chapter 26 Black Dragon Mountain God Lord. Facing this move from Jin Kei, Hagrev could absolutely not withstand it. Seeing this, Nuolan Shan could not help but feel a surge of joy. Jin Kei, you have overstepped your boundaries. A majestic voice rang out, and simultaneously, the attack from the World Lord Jin Kei dissipated into nothingness. A burly figure appeared in the sky, his entire body covered in black dragon scales, with a black dragon horn growing on his head, exuding an aura far surpassing that of a world lord. It was none other than an undying expert, the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord. Greetings, God Lord. Seeing his backer arrive, Hagrev hurriedly bowed, his heart feeling relieved. With the God Lord here, he would not have to die. Jin Kei greets Lord Black Dragon. Facing an undying, even though Jin Kei was a world lord ranked in the top 100 of the Ganwu universe country, he still had to bow to him. Jin Kei, since when does the Ganwu dojo have the authority to interfere in the Empire's affairs? The Black Dragon Mountain God Lord demanded. Jin Kei straightened his body, no longer so respectful. Although the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord was an undying, he was merely at the Army Lord level. Jin Kei had absolute confidence that he could escape from his hands. Lord Black Dragon, the dojo indeed has no authority to deal with Empire officials. But likewise, Empire officials have no authority to deal with a one-leaf Ganwu practitioner of my Ganwu dojo. As the manager of the Ganwu dojo for the entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire, I have not received any written documents from the Empire. Jin Kei retorted directly. Jin Kei, you are presumptuous. Jin Kei's words clearly angered the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord, and a terrifying aura pressed down upon Jin Kei alone. Conversely, Jin Kei calmly took out a token from his world ring. The token was simply inscribed with the two characters, 13. Yet, these two characters caused the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord's pupils to shrink, and he immediately retracted the aura he had released. The Ganwu Country Lord was the controller and the strongest expert of the entire Ganwu Universe country, a venerable level expert. Beneath him were 18 marquee-level Divine Generals, collectively known as the 18 Divine Generals. Because the Ganwu Country Lord was the biggest debtor in the universe, no champion-level Undyings had pledged allegiance to him. This, 13, token was the keepsake of the 13th Divine General. It contained the full power strike of the 13th Divine General, and upon being triggered, the 13th Divine General would arrive in the shortest possible time. Although the 13th Divine General was only a marquee-level Undying, he was a strong expert among marquee-level Undyings and had sufficient strength to annihilate the Army Lord-level Black Dragon Mountain God Lord. HMPH, let's go. The Black Dragon Mountain God Lord snorted coldly and left with Hagrev in a dejected manner. My lord is mighty. The entire venue erupted into intense cheers, and even Jin Kei, this world lord expert, could not help but curl up the corners of his mouth. This feeling of being loved by others was truly quite nice. Subsequently, Nuolan Shan invited Jin Kei and Obu into the VIP room. Many thanks to both lords for your assistance. Nuolan Shan will keep this in his heart. Nuolan Shan thanked them sincerely. Jin Kei nodded and said, Nuolan Shan, if it weren't for Bakbi being present today, we would not have been able to arrive in time. Hagrev will surely act more covertly in the future. You had better come with me to the Ganwu secret realm, only there can your absolute safety be guaranteed. Many thanks for your high regard, my lord, but I have already announced the establishment of an elite class. If I go back on my word, I fear it would damage the image of the Ganwu dojo. Moreover, I believe that after this incident, Hagrev, and perhaps even the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, will not make a move against me for a short time. Nuolan Shan still refused Jin Kei's good intentions. The main reason was that Hong and Thunder God had not yet become his disciples, otherwise, he would not have stayed on Chulong Star. The reputation of the dojo is of vital importance. Jin Kei pondered for a moment and said, in that case, this is my token, it contains my full power strike. If you encounter danger, crush it to activate it, and I will arrive in the shortest possible time. Jin Kei took out a plaque similar to the 13 token from his world ring, except this token was inscribed with Jin Kei. Many thanks, my lord. Nuolan Shan happily accepted this token. In this way, he had gained another trump card for saving his life. Jin Kei and Obu did not stay long and soon left, only saying to keep in touch in the future and to speak up directly if there were any difficulties. They would certainly help if they could. After seeing off the two superiors, Nuolan Shan immediately hosted a grand banquet to treat Bakbi. If it weren't for you, brother, my life would have been forfeit. From now on, if you have any matters, just give the order. I, Nuolan Shan, will go through mountains of blades and seas of fire without a single word of complaint. Nuolan Shan guaranteed sincerely. There is no need for that, we are friends, and friends should go through thick and thin for each other. Luo Feng, don't you agree? Bakbi looked at Luo Feng as he spoke. In our hometown, there is a saying, a drop of water in need shall be returned with a gushing spring. Facing the world lord expert, Luo Feng was neither humble nor arrogant, and he even quoted an ancient saying from Earth. The meaning was very clear. In the future, as long as I, Luo Feng, become successful, I will definitely repay Bakbi twofold. A gushing spring, what a wonderful gushing spring. Bakbi was very satisfied and praised the saying. From today's reaction of the Ganwu dojo, the importance placed on Nuolan Shan, and Luo Feng's potential, Bakbi knew that his investment was secure. Even if he were to fall in the future, his family would still have someone to look after them. This was actually one of the important reasons why he became an antique merchant. Because as for antiques, only those with money and power could afford to play with them. As for the Lord of Chulong Star, because he was, after all, affiliated with the Empire, it was not appropriate to host a banquet openly, so he simply had Bakalo send over a fruit worth 1 hunyuan. The Lord of Chulong Star was very satisfied with this. His investment in Brolin over these years had not even amounted to 1 hunyuan, and just by tipping them off once, he had doubled his earnings. Nuolan Shan is truly wealthy. It seems I must keep a close watch on the movements of the Empire from now on. Having gained the benefits, the Lord of Chulong Star immediately made up his mind to keep a close watch on the Empire's movements for Nuolan Shan. As long as the Empire made a move against Nuolan Shan, he would tip him off again, and at that time, he would be able to obtain at least another 1 hunyuan. He also secretly rejoiced, fortunate that he had not harbored any crooked thoughts toward Nuolan Shan back then. Otherwise, his fate would definitely have been the same as Brolin's, dying in an unclear manner. Previously, the Lord of Chulong Star had firmly believed that Brolin was not killed by Nuolan Shan, because a universe rank could not kill a domain lord. But today, seeing Nuolan Shan display law, he wavered. Law could absolutely make up for the gap in realm, and Nuolan Shan had sufficient strength to kill domain lord Senna. However, the Lord of Chulong Star would not delve into matters for which there was no evidence. After all, even the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord had suffered a setback in this matter. 3 days later, Hong and Thunder God arrived at Chulong Star, traveling on that old antique Black Dragon Mountain spaceship of Luo Feng's. Big brother, second brother, you really made me wait a long time. Seeing Hong and Thunder God, Luo Feng could not help but feel that emotion of fellow countrymen meeting in a foreign land, with eyes brimming with tears. Before, on Earth, the farthest distance between two people was merely one being at the North Pole and one at the South Pole, but now, the distance between Chulong Star and Earth was 320,000 light years. A light year is not time, it is a measure of length. It is the distance light travels in a vacuum in 1 year, approximately equal to 9.46 trillion kilometers. 320,000 light years, even with a calculator, one could not calculate exactly how many kilometers that is. The three brothers embraced warmly in this foreign star land. They had fought side by side on Earth, and in the universe, they would depend on each other even more. Let's go, I will take you to pay respects to the teacher. Luo Feng led the way enthusiastically to pay respects to Nuolan Shan. Chapter 27, Feather of the Three-Legged Golden Crow. Nuolan Shan had not been in seclusion these past few days because he calculated that Hong and Thunder God should be arriving at Chulong Star soon. Even Luo Feng picking up Hong and Thunder God was under Nuolan Shan's surveillance. It wasn't exactly excitement, but rather the satisfaction of a task nearing completion, a joy akin to finishing a mission. Greetings, teacher. Luo Feng bowed respectfully to Nuolan Shan, and Hong and Thunder God beside him did the same, addressing him as senior. Nuolan Shan glanced at Hong and Thunder God, and the two stood frozen on the spot, their eyes drifting. Nuolan Shan had been studying the Psyker Master technique, Thousand Illusions, in recent days, which could easily create realistic illusions. Luo Feng noticed the abnormality in his two brothers and was about to call out to wake them, but their eyes quickly returned to normal in less than a second. Their willpower is surprisingly strong, truly worthy of being grandmasters. Nuolan Shan was very satisfied with their performance. Luo Feng then remembered that when he first met Nuolan Shan, he had also experienced such a test. Thinking of this, Luo Feng couldn't help but feel happy. Since the teacher was satisfied, the probability of his two brothers being accepted as disciples was very high. Even Babada praised the talent of Hong and Thunder God. Little ones, this is a gift for our first meeting. I hope to see you in the elite class. Nuolan Shan then took out 2 bottles of Bloodline Evolution Potion. This. Hong and Thunder God hesitated. They were no longer novices, and since Luo Feng had used a Bloodline Evolution Potion before, they naturally knew what this was and understood its value. They felt embarrassed to accept such a precious gift. Big brother, second brother, just accept it. The teacher never takes back what he gives. Luo Feng helped persuade them. As a user, Luo Feng knew clearly how powerful the Bloodline Evolution Potion was. His two brothers' talent was already very high, and if they drank this potion, their talent would inevitably improve, and their chances of passing the subsequent selection would be even greater. Thank you, Senior, we will definitely work hard. Hearing this from Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God no longer hesitated and accepted the 2 Bloodline Evolution Potions. However, I am curious, you are so young, why is your mental willpower so strong? Nuolan Shan asked, pretending to be puzzled. This might be related to the culture of our planet. We often study ancient texts and absorb the wisdom of the sages. As he spoke, Hong took out several ancient books from his world ring. Given Hong's status on Earth, these were true ancient texts, some even handwritten by the authors, which were priceless on Earth. These are them, please take a look, Senior. The types of books were comprehensive, including Taoist, Buddhist, Christian, and Islamic texts. I will borrow them to take a look, and have Luo Feng return them to you when I am done. Nuolan Shan accepted the ancient books. Although he was an earthling in his past life, he had not delved into traditional culture or doctrines. This was a good chance to borrow them and improve his heart nature. You are too polite, Senior. They are just books, we have enough copies, no need to return them. Hong hurriedly refused. In his view, the value of these books was far less than the Bloodline Evolution Potion. After all, the content in the books could be found online easily. Then I will shamelessly accept them. Luo Feng, you arrange their living and eating arrangements. Nuolan Shan accepted the books and told Luo Feng to settle them in. That day, Hong and Thunder God took the Bloodline Evolution Potion. Unlike the original, they both achieved a breakthrough to astral rank. This was mainly because the Bloodline Evolution Potion bestowed by Nuolan Shan was more advanced than what Luo Feng had purchased in the original. After all, at that time, Luo Feng was only a peripheral member of the Virtual Universe Corporation at the planetary level. That's great. Luo Feng was very happy about this. With this, his two brothers would definitely pass the elite class selection. What Hong and Thunder God did not know was that Luo Feng had quietly purchased a Universe Level 9 slave, Di Fan, and a brand new spaceship. He ordered Di Fan to take the spaceship and send a large batch of rare metals he had previously purchased to Mars, doing his utmost to help the Golden Horned Beast achieve a breakthrough to Universe rank. These metals were the best combination deduced by Babada. If all went well, the Golden Horned Beast would be able to reach Universe rank within a year. In the following days, Nuolan Shan kept reading the Earth ancient texts. The effect was good, his progress in the Thousand Illusions technique accelerated significantly, and he only finished reading when a powerful aura descended upon the Ganwu dojo. The person who arrived was wearing the uniform of the Ganwu auction and was there to deliver goods to Nuolan Shan. Hello, Mr. Nuolan Shan. I need to verify your identity first. Please use your mental power to scan my arm. Verification passed. These are the items you won at the Ganwu auction, please check. The delivery person opened the box, revealing 3 items inside. The demonic killer race skin was the size of a palm, just like what he had seen in the virtual universe. There were obvious cutting marks on 4 sides, which made Nuolan Shan's eyes twitch. One fish, 2 ways of serving it, they really know how to do business. No wonder they are so famous. The other 2 items were techniques. There was no need to check them, they were 2 pieces of data that could not be copied and could not be transferred once connected to the virtual universe. No problem, thank you for your hard work. Nuolan Shan closed the box and stored it in his world. Ring. Delivery completed. I wish you a happy life and look forward to serving you again next time. After the delivery person finished speaking, he turned into a streak of light and flew away. Watching the delivery person leave, Nuolan Shan immediately contacted Luo Feng. He wanted to bestow the demonic killer race skin upon Luo Feng. He was really looking forward to what this would trigger in terms of a rebate. You have to know, Nuolan Shan had received the clone talent from Luo Feng's rebate. If he had a clone, Nuolan Shan would fear nothing and could live recklessly in his manner every day, instead of being cramped and cooped up in the Ganwu dojo. After receiving Nuolan Shan's message, Luo Feng arrived quickly. Luo Feng, weren't you troubled before about not being able to use the Yan Shen weapon? This is the demonic killer race skin I won at the Ganwu auction. Once your golden horned beast reaches universe rank, it will be able to gestate another clone. At that time, you can gestate the demonic killer race clone. If the golden horned beast is the favorite of the law of gold, then the demonic killer race is the favorite of the law of space. No, why are you crying, you big man? Take back your tears. Nuolan Shan was speechless, he didn't expect Luo Feng to be moved to tears while they were talking. Teacher, I didn't mean to, but I really couldn't help it. You were the best person to me in this world. Luo Feng sighed from the bottom of his heart. Even his parents hadn't been as good to him as Nuolan Shan, as they had a disabled brother who took away a portion of their love. Is that so? Nuolan Shan scratched his face, feeling embarrassed. To be honest, if it weren't for the fact that giving gifts could trigger a rebate, Nuolan Shan definitely wouldn't be this good to Luo Feng, even knowing that he would be able to reach the peak in the future. Your heart nature still needs tempering. Learn more from your big brother and second brother. Go. Nuolan Shan hurried to dismiss Luo Feng because the system notification was already ringing in his mind. Ding. Detected that the host has bestowed the demonic killer race skin to disciple Luo Feng, triggering the rebate mechanism. The rebated item has been stored in the host's world ring, please check. With an excited heart and trembling hands, after Luo Feng left, Nuolan Shan reached his mental power into the world ring. A golden, huge feather emitting terrifying flames was floating in the world ring, and everything around it turned to ash under the flames. Upon seeing this feather, information about it appeared in Nuolan Shan's mind, tail feather of the 3-legged golden crow. In Earth's mythology, the 3-legged golden crow is the incarnation of the sun, and in the universe, it is a special life form. It is not a creature of flesh and blood, but more like an elemental spirit. Don't think that because the golden crow is covered in fire, it is only the favorite of the law of fire. That would be a huge mistake and would be underestimating the system's 1,000-fold rebate. The golden crow is not only the favorite of the law of fire, but also the favorite of the law of time. After all, even in the vast universe, time is judged and defined by the rising and setting of the sun. Additionally, in the swallowed star world, big is beautiful, and big is good. A single feather of the 3-legged golden crow is so huge, its entire body must be immense, and the divine power it can store must be vast. One can imagine to what extent Nuolan Shan's talent would be improved if he gestated a golden crow clone. Ha ha ha. Nuolan Shan laughed excitedly. He had just said that Luo Feng's heart nature was not good enough, but in reality, he himself was not much better, he still needed to practice. Gestate. After his emotions calmed down, Nuolan Shan did not hesitate and activated his clone talent to start gestating the golden crow clone. Chapter 28, Dissatisfaction. The incubation of the 3-legged golden crow requires time. According to the current progress, it will take 3 years. Meanwhile, the selection for the elite class was in full swing, and for a time, Chulong Star was practically deserted as everyone flocked to watch. Even those who didn't qualify to participate entered the virtual universe to watch the battles. Nuolan Shan and Luo Feng both watched the performance of Hong and Thunder God, only to find that their concerns were entirely superfluous. Even though Hong and Thunder God were only at the first stage of the astral rank, because of the support of their domain, they could easily defeat those at the 9th stage of the astral rank. Some tried to engage them in a war of attrition, hoping to rely on their deeper origin force to exhaust Hong and Thunder God, but they would not give their opponents a chance. They attacked, and attacked, pressing until their opponents were forced to counterattack. They were the dark horses, running from the beginning all the way to the end to become the champion and runner-up. Nuolan Shan was both satisfied and disappointed with this result. Although he had successfully recruited Hong and Thunder God as he wished, the fact that there wasn't a single genius among the hundreds of star systems who could surpass them was inevitably disappointing. Nuolan Shan relied on taking in disciples to reach the peak. If he didn't have high-quality students, it would be useless no matter how many slots he unlocked. It seems my reputation is still not enough. I haven't created a master-teacher effect yet. However, Nuolan Shan believed that day was not far off. As long as Luo Feng won first place in the genius battle, his reputation as a master-teacher would be established. But before that, he had to cultivate Luo Feng with all his might. Let that begin with the elite class lessons. For this first lesson, Nuolan Shan had prepared seriously. The first lesson of the elite class was held in a private classroom at the Ganwu Dojo, and the 10 students carefully selected by Nuolan Shan had arrived early. Even with only 10 students, they were divided into 2 groups. The 3 Earthlings, Luo Feng, Hong, and Thunder God, naturally formed one small group. The other 7 were veteran students of Chulong Star, forming the other group. The veteran students looked at Hong and Thunder God with wariness, but looked at Luo Feng with resentment. Hong and Thunder God had fought their way in, and their strength was indisputable. But why was Luo Feng internally selected, and why was he the only planetary-level student in the class, when there were clearly veteran students in the Ganwu Dojo better than him? It is worth mentioning that among the 7 veteran students, one was Wei Lin's older brother. Who was Wei Lin? A minor character that even the original author had forgotten. Back when Gao Sheng invited Luo Feng to dinner at a restaurant on Chulong Star, Wei Lin was the Ganwu Dojo student who had shown off his telepathic weapon in the restaurant and clashed with Luo Feng. In the original work, there was foreshadowing where Wei Lin threatened to deal with Luo Feng after he joined the Ganwu Dojo. However, Luo Feng never came to the Ganwu Dojo on Chulong Star after that, and eventually joined the Virtual Universe Corporation directly, so Wei Lin never appeared again, making the foreshadowing completely pointless. However, with Nuolan Shan's changes, this foreshadowing was picked up again, and Wei Lin's brother, Wei Mu, wanted to seek justice for his younger brother. Because of Nuolan Shan's establishment of the elite class, Wei Lin's family had spared no expense to boost his cultivation to the astral rank, yet he had been defeated by Hong and Thunder God. Wei Lin accepted his defeat because he was genuinely outmatched, but why did Luo Feng, a mere planetary level, deserve his spot? This dissatisfaction from Wei Lin also influenced Wei Mu, and even affected all the internally selected veteran students, as they all had friends and family. Luo Feng, I challenge you. Wei Mu walked up to Luo Feng and issued his challenge. Luo Feng glanced at Wei Mu and said indifferently, "The selection is over, there is no need for you to challenge me." Compared to a challenge, I would rather listen to the lesson carefully. Are you afraid? Wei Mu goaded him. Say whatever you want. A little provocation was useless against Luo Feng. Teacher Nuolan Shan must have made a mistake. I will definitely file a protest, Wei Mu said. What did you say? Luo Feng's eyes turned cold. It didn't matter if they insulted him, but they could not insult his respected teacher Nuolan Shan. I said that teacher Nuolan Shan is biased and let you in through the back door, Wei Mu said loudly. Choose the time and place yourself, a real battle is fine too. Luo Feng was angry and decided to accept Wei Mu's challenge, even going so far as to agree to a life and death battle in reality. Fine, then after class, we will decide the winner in the decisive battle space. To avoid you saying I'm bullying you, we'll fight 3 rounds, if you can win even one, you win. Wei Mu was very arrogant, but on Chulong's star, he did have the capital to be arrogant, otherwise, he wouldn't have been internally selected by Nuolan Shan. Besides, what was difficult about an astral rank 9th stage fighting a planetary level 9th stage? If he didn't even have that much confidence, Wei Mu would have no face to be called a genius. Young people are full of vigor. However, the duel can just be conducted in the virtual universe. Our dojo forbids students from killing each other. But remember one thing, in a duel between men, you must never hold grudges or play dirty tricks afterward. Nuolan Shan walked in at this moment. He did not stop their duel, but limited them to virtual combat and forbade any retaliation afterward. Of course, Luo Feng and Wei Mu said. In unison, their eyes both bursting with intense battle intent. All right, let's officially begin the lesson. You can be considered geniuses among the hundreds of nearby star systems, but compared to those prodigy geniuses who comprehended laws at the astral rank, there is still a huge gap. Of course, cultivation cannot be rushed, you must take it one step at a time. Before comprehending laws, we must first master the domain. Today's first lesson will be about this domain. The domain is the manifestation of consciousness. Theoretically, as long as one's consciousness is strong enough, a domain can naturally be born. At the same time, the domain is also a stepping stone to the laws. Only by mastering the domain can one comprehend laws. So, how can one strengthen their consciousness to induce the birth of a domain? The gap in strength between me and you is too large, but fortunately, there are 2 students in our class who have comprehended a domain, so let them talk about their own process of birthing a domain. Hong, you go first. Nuolan Shan directly called Hong to the stage to share his successful experience. As a Grandmaster of Earth, Hong was not stage frightened and walked directly onto the podium to begin recounting the entire process of how he birthed his domain. My hometown is a beautiful azure planet, and in. Hong spoke for a long time, as if giving a speech. To summarize, his domain was born on the edge of life and death. And even though he had a domain, he only knew that it was, but not why. None of his earthling disciples had birthed a domain. Next was Thunder God. His speech was simple. I am the same as Brother Hong. I birthed my domain on the verge of death. I also only learned today that the domain is a manifestation of consciousness. Well said. I presume everyone has understood. Their domains were born in real combat and under the boundless pressure between life and death. However, this is the most primitive and also the most dangerous method. After billions of years of development, cosmic civilization has gradually explored another method to strengthen consciousness. After Nuolan Shan finished speaking, he waved his hand, and a picture appeared before everyone. The picture depicted a great axe with mysterious patterns on it. This is the great axe visualization diagram I drew with my own hands. As long as you visualize this picture day and night, you can accelerate the progress of birthing a domain. If you can thoroughly comprehend this picture, your domain can reach perfection. Nuolan Shan pointed at the picture and introduced it. Hiss. Everyone couldn't help but gasp. A good item, definitely a good item, one that could even be passed down as a family heirloom. You have to know that reaching the 9th level of domain perfection is something even ordinary universe rankers cannot do, and a universe ranker is almost a local emperor in a star system. Whoever possesses this picture will see the probability of their family producing a universe ranker rise sharply. There is no need to fight. I have prepared 10 of these pictures, and each of you will get one. Nuolan Shan waved his hand, and a great axe visualization diagram appeared on everyone's table. Thank you, teacher. Hong, Thunder God, and the others all sincerely thanked Nuolan Shan. Ding. 2 third-tier genius disciples, Hong and Thunder God, detected. Do you wish to bind them? The system's voice sounded in Nuolan Shan's mind at the right moment. Chapter 29, Cashback. Nuolan Shan naturally chose to bind Hong and Thunder God without hesitation. After all, the elite class was created specifically for the 2 of them. Binding successful. Host's comprehension ability of the law of light has increased, comprehension ability of the law of lightning has increased, and heart nature cultivation has increased. The system prompt sounded, and Nuolan Shan felt slightly surprised. He had originally thought it would only increase his law comprehension ability. he hadn't expected that taking on disciples could also improve his heart-nature cultivation. According to Hong's classification, heart-nature cultivation has 3 levels. The first level is clarity of mind and insight, the second is heart of an innocent child, and the third is infinite heart. Although there are only 3 levels, if one can reach the 3rd level, as long as one does not perish prematurely, one can reach the true God rank through effort, with strength sufficient to crush the primordial Chaos City Lord. Even reaching the 2nd level is enough to make the Great Axe founder personally come down to take one as a disciple and cultivate them with full effort, making becoming a universe exalt a certainty. This is the importance of heart nature. It is just that it is difficult for ordinary people to reach it even at the universe rank, let alone universe exalts our true gods. Therefore, powerful beings in the universe generally only focus on increasing combat power and the degree of law comprehension. After all, if these 2 aspects are strong, heart-nature cultivation will also improve to some extent. Only people at the level of the Great Axe founder know just how important heart-nature cultivation truly is. Nuolan Shan can actually understand the 3 levels of heart nature, but understanding is one thing, and achieving it is another. Now that he has received the heart nature cashback, Nuolan Shan has reached the perfection of the 1st level. Before becoming undying, his cultivation will be smooth sailing, especially his cultivation as a Psyker master. Alright, this class ends here. We will have class again in a month. I hope that by then, some of you will be able to master a domain. Nuolan Shan did not drag out the class. After finishing what he wanted to say, he announced the end of class. The whole thing did not exceed 1 hour. However, no one had any complaints, and everyone's face was filled with extreme excitement. With this Great Axe visualization diagram, even if the elite class were to stop in the future, they would still have made a huge profit. Additionally, Hong, Thunder God, since you shared your process of comprehending a domain, you should be rewarded. Nuolan Shan gave the secret techniques he had prepared long ago to Hong and Thunder God. Even with their heart nature, seeing the secret techniques, they could not help but be surprised and delighted. It goes without saying that the secret techniques were valuable. The key was that they were very suitable for them, almost as if they were tailor-made. Amidst the envious, jealous, and hateful gazes of the students, Hong and Thunder God accepted the secret techniques. Ding! Detected that the host has gifted cultivation secret techniques to disciples Hong and Thunder God, triggering the cashback mechanism. The cashback items have been stored in the host's world ring. Please check them. The system's voice was like music to his ears. If he weren't still in class, Nuolan Shan would definitely have checked what the cashback was. I am not a stingy person. If you are envious, then show me your talent. I can clearly tell you that I established the elite class to cultivate geniuses who can shine brilliantly in the universe peak genius battle. Work hard and prove it to me. After finishing, Nuolan Shan looked around at everyone present. Except for Luo Feng, Hong, and Thunder God, whose gazes were firm, the other veteran students had wandering eyes. They were already citizens of the universe and deeply understood what the universe peak genius battle meant. How could such a genius appear on Chulong's star? Teacher Nuolan Shan must be crazy. Nuolan Shan shook his head and left the classroom directly. If they didn't have talent, that was one thing, but if they didn't even dare to think about it, then they were truly beyond saving. With nothing better to do, he strolled through the Ganwu dojo, watching the sun on the horizon and feeling the breeze blowing over. Suddenly, he stopped, having an epiphany at the peak of the Ganwu dojo. A mysterious force of law lingered around his body. Everything that passed by him would sometimes accelerate and sometimes decelerate. Nuolan Shan raised his head and smiled slightly. This is time. It turns out it is so simple. Before many principles are understood, they feel obscure and difficult to grasp, but after understanding them, they feel so simple. Laws, to put it plainly, are the principles by which the universe operates. It's just that people often refer to them as Tao. Nuolan Shan had not expected that before his 3-legged golden crow clone had even finished gestating, he would have comprehended the law of time. However, upon careful consideration, it made sense. Binding Bakalo increased his comprehension ability of the law of wind, binding Hong increased his comprehension ability of the law of light, binding Thunder God increased his comprehension ability of the law of lightning. And these three laws mentioned above are all subordinate laws to the law of time. By combining these three levels of comprehension ability, he was able to have an epiphany regarding the law of time today. However, in this way, when Luo Feng successfully gestates the demonic killer race clone, he should also be able to comprehend the law of space. In that case, he would possess the qualifications to use a cosmic divine weapon. Nuolan Shan rubbed his chin and thought to himself, it seems my next focus needs to be on the aspect of being a psyker master. Having just comprehended the law of time, I also need to adapt and consolidate. Nuolan Shan was in pain and happy at the same time. His improvements were always too fast, and he had to spend a large amount of time adapting. Fortunately, the decisive battle space of the virtual universe is the best place for him to adapt, rather than going out to fight with real blades and guns. Before fully adapting to his power, it is easy to run into trouble if he goes into real combat. I almost forgot, I haven't checked the cashback for Hong and Thunder God yet. Nuolan Shan only then remembered that he had not yet checked the system cashback for Hong and Thunder God. His mental energy probed into the world ring, and he saw a book half a meter thick lying there quietly. The cover of the book read, Time Control of Objects. From the name, one could tell that this secret technique was about Psyker Masters, and it was specifically a secret technique for the controller path of Psyker Masters. It was as if the system knew that Nuolan Shan was going to focus on the aspect of Psyker Masters, as it had actually provided this secret technique as cashback. That, Thousand Illusions, was also a Psyker Master secret technique, but it followed the illusionist path. Nuolan Shan complained in his heart, Hong and Thunder God only provided this one secret technique as cashback, this system is really stingy. However, he was wrong in his criticism, if it weren't for the 2-in-1 cashback, just 100-fold cashback for a third-rate genius would not have yielded such a secret technique. Because this secret technique touched upon the law of time, the status of superior laws goes without saying. To become a universe exalt, one must master a superior law. To become a powerful being among universe lords, one needs to master both the superior laws of time and space, only then can one achieve the ability to reverse time and space and bring the dead back to life. While things were going smoothly for Nuolan Shan, Luo Feng was welcoming his first battle since entering the universe, and his opponent was that Wei Mu. Because Wei Mu's reputation at the Ganwu Dojo on Chulong Star was simply too loud, the number of onlookers was huge, even the instructor ended the lesson early and went to watch the battle. Everyone did not favor Luo Feng, because he was only at the planetary level 9th rank, while his opponent was at the astral rank 9th rank. Phil and NAC thought the same. However, they knew that Luo Feng was Nuolan Shan's personal disciple and must have his own extraordinary aspects, so they also went to watch the battle with the intention of joining the excitement. Chapter 30, Beat You Until You Submit. Luo Feng, as long as you voluntarily give up your spot, we won't need to fight. Wei Mu said, talk big after you've beaten me. Luo Feng couldn't be bothered to waste words with him, summoning his Duntian shuttle, ready to strike. What an arrogant brat, then die. Wei Mu roared, but was immediately pierced through the body by the Duntian shuttle and died on the spot. This is impossible. Wei Mu widened his eyes in disbelief. I am an astral rank level 9, how could I be killed in one hit by a planetary level 9? You have 2 more chances. Luo Feng said lightly. Come again, this time I definitely won't underestimate my opponent. Wei Mu comforted himself, thinking the last round was because he was too careless. Swoosh. The second match ended in the same outcome, he was once again killed by Luo Feng in one hit. He didn't even have time to see Luo Feng's movements. No, that wasn't right. As a controller, Luo Feng didn't even need to move, he just used his spiritual force to control the Duntian shuttle for a long-range attack. Distance, it must be a distance issue, I need to close the distance. Wei Mu felt he had found the key to the problem. He had indeed found the source of the problem, but it was useless. Before he could even get close to Luo Feng, he was killed in one hit. Knowing and doing are 2 different things. Third brother, you are too amazing. That, Wei Mu, is it. Do you still need to fight? Thunder God, with his childlike heart nature, cheered for Luo Feng immediately and teased Wei Mu with his words. Wei Mu's face darkened with shame and anger, wishing he could find a crack in the ground to crawl into. He had thought beating a planetary level 9 would be easy, but he hadn't expected to be defeated so easily, losing all face. If he had known this, he should have challenged Luo Feng in private. No, he shouldn't have challenged Luo Feng at all. Second brother, let's be forgiving when we can. Luo Feng didn't have Thunder God's malicious sense of humor and said to Wei Mu, Teacher Nuolan Shan acts fairly and justly, there is absolutely no such thing as favoritism. I ask you to remember this. After speaking, Luo Feng left with Hong and Thunder God. Watching Luo Feng's retreating back, Wei Mu couldn't bring himself to hate him at all. It will be very difficult for me to catch up to his back in this lifetime. With his words, perhaps he can really shine in the universe peak genius battle. Wei Mu thought to himself. Big brother, I'm sorry, I didn't know he would be this strong and even let you lose face. Wei Mu's younger brother, Wei Lin, came over to apologize. Absolutely do not make an enemy of him, don't even let the thought cross your mind. Wei Mu warned. Understood, I promise. Wei Lin assured. He was just a spoiled young master, but that didn't mean he was stupid. On the contrary, he was very good at reading the situation, which was why he had immediately withdrawn when he heard the name of Wei Di in the restaurant. Nuolan Shan was unaware of these little interludes because he had long anticipated the result, so he didn't pay attention. After he returned, he dived straight into the decisive battle space to fight against virtual opponents. He was crazy. For a full month, he fought without stopping. Finally, he integrated the law of time into his attacks. If it hadn't been for the elite class's second lesson 1 month later, Nuolan Shan wouldn't have even left the decisive battle space. Actually, while he was crazy, Baccalo was even crazier during this time. He hid from Nuolan Shan and went to the Great Axe battleground to fight life and death battles. Because Nuolan Shan expected Baccalo to comprehend the law of wind, Baccalo understood that things like laws couldn't be comprehended by sitting at home, they had to be forced out through life and death battles. By the time Nuolan Shan knew about this, Baccalo was already fighting in the Great Axe battleground. In fact, even if Nuolan Shan had known Baccalo was participating in life and death battles, he wouldn't have stopped him, because he had participated in them himself. Although life and death battles carried a high risk of death, the rewards were also great. With the virtual universe being so powerful, the fact that the Great Axe battleground could still thrive was proof enough of this. According to statistics, the probability of a universe-ranked Great Axe warrior breaking through to the Territory Lord rank is 50%. The probability of a Territory Lord-ranked Great Axe warrior breaking through to a World Lord is as high as 90%. The 3 founders of Three Axe Mountain were once Territory Lord-ranked Great Axe warriors. They appreciated each other's talents, which led to the creation of Three Axe Mountain. And apart from the World Lord of Time, Luo, the other 2 founders were undying. In fact, if it hadn't been for Luo's greed, attempting to comprehend the law of time to reach the undying stage, and getting trapped in a secret realm, consuming most of his lifespan, he would have inevitably become an undying of the law of light. Between life and death, there is great terror, but also great opportunity. Greetings, teacher. As Nuolan Shan stepped into the classroom, the 10 students bowed in unison. Nuolan Shan glanced at Luo Feng and praised, Luo Feng, you have broken through to the astral rank, not bad, not bad. Compared to the original work, Luo Feng's progress in breaking through had accelerated, taking another step closer to defeating Bolin and becoming number 1 in the universe peak genius battle. Thank you for the praise, teacher. Luo Feng appeared neither humble nor arrogant. Nuolan Shan nodded with satisfaction, then asked, a month has passed, besides Hong and Thunder God, who has comprehended a domain? The students present lowered their heads one after another. Even with the assistance of the Great Axe visualization diagram, they had failed to comprehend a domain within a month. Teacher, I have comprehended the wind domain. Surprisingly, Wei Mu raised his hand. This could be considered knowing shame and becoming brave. He had comprehended a domain earlier than the other senior students. Being able to comprehend this domain was partly due to talent, but another part was because of Luo Feng. Perhaps in his subconscious, he felt that as long as he was fast enough, he could defeat Luo Feng. Wei Mu, not bad, not bad. I will reward you with this Origin Energy Battle Armor. Nuolan Shan took out an idol, Universe Rank Origin Energy Battle Armor and bestowed it upon Wei Mu. Thank you, teacher. Wei Mu was overjoyed, this was much more advanced than what he was wearing. Teacher, I have comprehended the Golden Domain. Luo Feng immediately raised his hand as well. What? Good, very good. Nuolan Shan was overjoyed. He knew that in the original work, the Golden Horned Beast only comprehended the domain when it broke through to the universe rank, and at the same time, it also comprehended the law of gold. Luo Feng's progress in comprehending laws had accelerated again. Sure enough, that intelligent lifeform Babata didn't know how to teach a disciple. It had delayed Luo Feng too much in the early stages, especially by strictly adhering to the rigid rules set by Huyanbo. If you have resources, you should cultivate your successor with all your might. Why set this and that? It's just creating trouble for yourself. Come to my residence after class, I have something for you. Nuolan Shan smiled. Yes. Luo Feng happily agreed. The other students couldn't help but feel envious. This was the difference between a personal disciple and an ordinary disciple. Bestowing treasures in private was definitely much better than the Origin Energy Battle Armor Wei Mu received. Alright, those who haven't comprehended a domain need to keep trying. Those who have, must avoid arrogance and impatience. Convert the domain into part of your strength, and constantly polish and adapt. This requires tempering in battle, you can go to the decisive battle space. If you don't have enough money, go to the Ganwu Dojo for a loan. You are all students of the Ganwu Dojo, so the interest will be lower than for others. After Nuolan Shan finished speaking, he continued the lesson, mainly talking about the construction and application of the domain. He didn't care if those without a domain could understand, he wanted geniuses, and mediocre people could leave if they didn't understand. However, these mediocre people wouldn't give up easily because they were also called geniuses. They would never admit defeat, even if they couldn't understand, they would write it all down. These contents were valuable treasures that could be kept and contemplated slowly later. Chapter 31, Issuing Missions. After class, Luo Feng followed Nuolan Shan directly home. Luo Feng, how much do you know about the Universe Peak Genius Battle? Nuolan Shan did not bestow any treasures directly, but instead asked this question first. Reporting to teacher, according to the information I have researched, the Universe Peak Genius Battle is held every 5,000 years, alternately hosted by the Virtual Universe Corporation and the Great Axe Battleground. This session will be hosted by the Virtual Universe Corporation. For the sake of fairness, after the participating contestants enter the virtual universe, regardless of their psycher power rank or physical strength, everything is maintained at the level of a normal astral rank 9. In other words, even if I go to participate at astral rank 1 now, my strength within the virtual universe will still be astral rank 9. Only the top 1,000 contestants in the entire universe can join the two giants and become core members. However, the treatment varies depending on the ranking. Luo Feng spoke in great detail, which showed that he had not been slacking off and had even been preparing for that day to arrive for a long time. What you said is correct. However, although everything is set to astral rank 9 for fairness, in reality, you are at astral rank 1 and cannot perfectly control the power of an astral rank 9. This is top-tier nutrient solution, containing the purest energy, and it has absolutely no side effects. Use it to reach astral rank 9 as soon as possible. I have other arrangements for your cultivate. After saying this, Nuolan Shan handed a space ring to Luo Feng. After receiving it, Luo Feng probed with his divine thought and was surprised to find 3 portions of nutrient solution inside. Teacher, why are there 3 portions? Luo Feng asked, puzzled. Give the other 2 portions to Hong and Thunder God. Although their talent is not as good as yours, if they can comprehend the law, they also have hope of breaking into the top 1,000 in the entire universe, Nuolan Shan said. Thank you, teacher. Luo Feng accepted it happily. He did not expect that there would also be a share for his big brother and second brother. In other words, the status of his big brother and second brother in teacher's heart was equal to his own as a personal disciple. This was great. Not long after, Nuolan Shan heard the system prompt. Ding. Detected that the host has bestowed nutrient solution to his disciple, triggering the cashback mechanism. The cashback items this time were 1 portion of Loch Divine Water and 2 life fruits. Without a doubt, the Loch Divine Water was the 1,000-fold cashback for Luo Feng, and the life fruits were the 100-fold cashback for Hong and Thunder God. Nuolan Shan poured the Loch Divine Water into the Divine Water pool without hesitation, while he put away the 2 life fruits. Master. At this moment, the star-eating grass woke up. It could only be said that it lived up to being Loch Divine Water. In such a short time, the star-eating grass had broken through from a seedling to the territory lord rank. At this rate, breaking through to the world lord rank was not far off. Star-eating, you are doing great. Continue to break through, I need your help. Nuolan Shan praised it, sounding a bit like he was coaxing a child. Star-eating is so happy, Master praised me. The star-eating grass began to dance with joy. The primordial universe is fair. It endowed the star-eating grass, a plant life form, with the talent to level up just by eating, but it limited their intelligence. Even if they became undying, their heart nature would remain like that of a human child. If it were not for this restriction, plant life forms would have become a peak race equal to, or even superior to, the human race. Go on. I should also work hard to cultivate. After saying this, Nuolan Shan also began his seclusion. This seclusion lasted for a full year, and his strength had undergone earth-shattering changes. First, although he had only stepped into the threshold of the law of time, he could already perfectly control the law at this level. Secondly, he could barely execute the second acts of his 9 styles of heaven opening, which was thanks to his comprehension of the law of time. It truly fit the saying, stones from other hills can serve to polish the jade of this one. Additionally, Nuolan Shan's combat style had changed. Previously, when he fought against a territory lord, his divine thought only served as an auxiliary role, or for sneak attacks, primarily aimed at catching the enemy off guard. But now, he had combined the 2 combat styles of martial artist and psyker master. He could engage in close-quarters combat while simultaneously controlling psyker weapons to attack, and could even throw in an illusion to interfere unexpectedly. If others knew about this, they would definitely think Nuolan Shan was foolish. Even with great talent, one should not mess around like this without any focus. One must know that before becoming undying, one's lifespan is limited, and human energy is also limited. Trying to grasp both ends makes it easy to be proficient in neither. But Nuolan Shan did not have these concerns because he was cheating. What he lacked the least right now was talent, which was enough for him to advance on all fronts. He even had an idea, or rather, an ambition. He wanted to comprehend all laws. He wanted to see what wonders would occur after comprehending all laws. He believed that quantitative changes would inevitably lead to qualitative changes. Of course, that was in the distant future. By then, he would have at least 100 disciples. Currently, counting everything, he only had 4, so it was still a long way off. Speaking of taking on disciples, Nuolan Shan's quota for taking on disciples had unlocked 1 more slot, which also indirectly verified Nuolan Shan's combat power at this moment. Killing a Lord of Chulong Star was like child's play. The Lord of Chulong Star stated at this moment that he had already cried himself unconscious in the restroom. Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God, come see me immediately. Nuolan Shan transmitted his voice to the 3 of them. Swish. In less than 10 seconds, the 3 of them arrived in front of Nuolan Shan. Congratulations on exiting seclusion, teacher. The 3 disciples stepped forward to salute. Not bad, all of you have successfully broken through to astral rank 9. It is time for you to go for life and death training. Do you know about the Universe Mercenary Alliance? Nuolan Shan asked. Does teacher want us to join the Universe Mercenary Alliance and participate in their trainee mercenary assessment? Luo Feng said. Nuolan Shan nodded and said, that is correct. The trainee mercenary assessment is a true slaughter, which is most suitable for you to hone your strength. However, remember not to break through to universe rank, otherwise you will not be able to participate in the genius battle and can only participate in the strongman battle. Yes, teacher. The The three of them acknowledged and then retreated. Because the three of them had a resounding reputation and prominent status at the Ganwu dojo, after learning that they were going to participate in the trainee mercenary assessment, all the students of the elite class decided to participate together. Since those in the elite class were all going, some of their followers and admirers also joined in succession. In the end, over 100 astral rank 9 students formed a team, heading out in a massive group. Luo Feng and the other two were transformed and unexpectedly became the leaders. Ho ho, let's set off. Thunder God was very excited, feeling like he was fighting little monsters back on Earth. He was too familiar with leading teams. Before Luo Feng was born, he was already frequently leading the human race to fight monsters. To facilitate coordination, Thunder God divided the team of over 100 people into 3 large squads, each led by one of them. He also started a competition with great interest to see whose squad would have the most people pass the assessment. As for the prize, is a phrase of, "You were impressive, enough." Anyway, the people in the 3 major squads were all howling with excitement. No one was willing to be the last one. At this moment, Nuolan Shan did not know that the plot had developed in a direction he had not expected. Chapter 32, Slaughtering in All Directions. This time, the location for Luo Feng's assessment was still the Thunder World. The reason Nuolan Shan had Luo Feng participate in the assessment now was precisely to enable them to obtain the wealth of World Lord Kabu. Although Nuolan Shan coveted their cashbacks, since he was their teacher, he had to be responsible for his students. The opportunity that was meant to be theirs still had to be guided to them. The process of obtaining an opportunity was also a trial of the heart. While Luo Feng and his group were taking the assessment, Bakalo also returned, having successfully obtained the title of Giant Axe Warrior, and he had even comprehended the law of wind during the final life and death battle. Because Bakalo had comprehended the law, Nuolan Shan's own comprehension of the law of wind had also increased significantly. He was just drinking tea when he suddenly comprehended the law of wind. In a sense, these disciples of Nuolan Shan could all be considered his clones. When a clone's strength increased, his strength would also increase accordingly, though this was limited to the aspect of the law. Bakalo, you truly did not disappoint me. Nuolan Shan was very satisfied with Bakalo's performance. He knew Bakalo could comprehend the law, but he hadn't expected it to be so fast. I will strive with all my might to catch up to teacher. Bakalo said with a determined gaze. Very good. This is a life fruit, consider it a congratulatory gift from your teacher. Nuolan Shan took out 2 life fruits he had obtained via cashback from Hong and Thunder God. Thank you, teacher. Bakalo gladly accepted them. The life fruit was just right for cultivating his cloud-caressing vine. His current cloud-caressing vine was only at universe rank level 1. If he digested these 2 life fruits and added some other materials, he should be able to break through to territory lord rank. Sigh. Watching Bakalo leave, Nuolan Shan couldn't help but sigh. He had suddenly comprehended the law of wind, which meant he had to readapt to his power and integrate the law of wind into his own combat. It keeps coming, it keeps coming. So annoying. If others knew that Nuolan Shan had the trouble of his strength increasing too quickly, he would definitely be roasted to death. He really didn't know how lucky he was. The master is calling. The master is calling. Nuolan Shan, who was still getting familiar with the law of wind, received a call from Luo Feng. What is it? Nuolan Shan answered the phone and asked. Teacher, we are participating in the trainee mercenary assessment in the Thunder World, and a world within world has suddenly appeared. Please give us your instructions. Luo Feng respectfully waited for Nuolan Shan's orders. This is your opportunity, go and fight for it to your heart's content, the dojo will fully support you. Nuolan Shan encouraged him. Understood. Luo Feng hung up the phone and said to everyone, Teacher's instructions are to fight for resources with all our might, he is our strongest backing. Oh! In an instant, the Ganwu dojo students roared with excitement. Meanwhile, Nuolan Shan contacted Obu. Brother Nuolan, what is it? Obu asked. From the video call, one could see a large group of people standing behind him, and the former supervisor of the Chulong Star Ganwu dojo, Leo, was among them. It seemed that Obu was likely in an important meeting. If it hadn't been Nuolan Shan calling, he would definitely not have answered. My disciple, Luo Feng, discovered a world within world while participating in the trainee mercenary assessment on Kanglan Star in the Thunder World. I ask that you please provide some assistance, preferably by organizing personnel to enter, so that we may fight for some resources for the students of my Ganwu dojo. Nuolan Shan requested. To be honest, brother, we were just discussing this matter. We were hesitant about whether to get involved, but with your word, I won't hesitate anymore. Obu made the final decision. I order the issuance of a mobilization notice. All astral rank level 9 students on Kanglan Star are to apply for the trainee mercenary assessment and enter the Thunder World. Yes. All his subordinates immediately accepted the order and began to gather personnel, their faces unable to hide their excitement. If their strength allowed it, they would have been unable to resist killing their way directly into the Thunder World. It was the entire net worth of a World Lord, and according to data, World Lord Kabu's wealth was comparable to an undying. Who wouldn't covet that? However, it was, after all, the assessment site of the giant, the Universe Mercenary Alliance, and only allowed astral rank individuals to enter. Even the Ganwu dojo had to show some face and could not break the rules. What they could do now was lend treasures to the disciples so they could fight for more resources in the world within world. Phil, issue a mobilization notice. All astral rank level 9s at the Chulong Star Dojo are to go to the Thunder World to fight for resources. Nuolan Shan did not fall behind and hurriedly had Phil make the arrangements. Yes, my lord. However, the most elite batch has already gone with your disciples to participate in the trainee mercenary assessment. Phil reported. Oh, but that's a good thing. Nuolan Shan was surprised at first, then happy. If those elites were with them, Luo Feng and the others should be able to have a greater harvest. Nuolan Shan continued. Make the arrangements and tell them that whatever resources they can fight for belong to them, the dojo will not take a single cent. Yes. Phil acted quickly, and the mobilization notice was issued immediately, causing an uproar. A World Lord's inheritance, whoever grabs it, keeps it. This matter originally had nothing to do with them, the astral rank, but today it had come to their doorstep. This was tantamount to a windfall of wealth, so even though it wasn't a mandatory mission, all astral rank level 9s in the dojo signed up to enter. Danger. Where is there no danger in cultivation? If you're afraid of danger, then what the hell is the point of cultivating? Cultivation is merely about fighting. Luo Feng and his group of 3 led the dojo's elites into the world within world. They were different now compared to the original work, their strength had increased by a major grade. Just speaking of the cloud-caressing vine, because Luo Feng and Hong spared no resources in cultivating them, both of theirs had reached universe rank, making them practically invincible in the world within world. Relying on the advantage of being there first, the advantage of having many people, the advantage of higher level AI, and the advantage of powerful strength, they were rampant in the world within world, mining until their hands cramped. Making such a huge profit naturally led to a clash with the Imperial Martial Group. Especially since the Imperial Martial Group had received orders from Hagrev to kill the Ganwu dojo members in the world within world to vent their hatred. Coincidentally, Luo Feng and his 2 companions had the exact same intention. Their strength was low, and they originally weren't qualified to vent their teacher's anger, but now that there were only astral rank individuals in the world within world, it was the perfect time to slaughter the Imperial Martial Group members and collect some interest. The 2 groups engaged in a chaotic battle the moment they met. Because of the cloud-caressing vine, Luo Feng and the others slaughtered them until they were throwing away their armor and fleeing in a panic. But soon the situation changed. A large group of Imperial Martial Group astral rank level 9s invaded the world within world, and relying on treasures capable of killing universe rank individuals, they began to besiege Luo Feng and the others. If it weren't for the fact that Luo Feng and the others had universe rank cloud-caressing vines to protect them, they really might have been killed. But soon the situation changed again. A large group of Ganwu dojo astral rank level 9s invaded the world within world, and they had received orders to obey Luo Feng's command once they arrived in the world within world. Roar. Under Luo Feng's leadership, the Ganwu dojo students slaughtered the Imperial Martial Group until they were throwing away their armor, collapsing in disorder, and leaving corpses everywhere. When Luo Feng, Hong, and Thunder God arrived before Nuolan Shan with the 3-layer password for World Lord Kabu's legacy crystal ball, Nuolan Shan was completely dumbfounded. He knew all too well what kind of thing was inside that legacy crystal ball. It could be said to be more disgusting than a pile of poop. But he couldn't even get angry if he wanted to, because Luo Feng said it like this. Teacher, in our hometown, when a student takes a master, they must give the master a gift. This is currently the most valuable thing the 3 of us have. We offer it to you, teacher, as a makeup for our apprenticeship gift. Luo Feng had already said it to this extent, so he couldn't refuse to accept it. But having a pile of poop stuck to his hand was truly uncomfortable. Chapter 33, Beating Up Hagrev. Just as Nuolan Shan was agonizing over how to deal with this pile of dung, Phil walked in holding a document. My lord, please take a look at this document. Phil handed over a thin file. Didn't I already say, just handle everything with NAC, you don't need to go through me. Nuolan Shan had no interest in dealing with documents. He chose to be stationed at Chulong Star purely to take Luo Feng, Hong, and Thunder God as his disciples. He didn't want to work at all. Even for the elite class lectures, he had now changed them to once a year. My lord, this document concerns your disciple, so we dared not make the decision ourselves. Phil explained. Oh, bring it here and let me see. Upon hearing it was about Luo Feng, Nuolan Shan decided to take a look. After taking the document, Nuolan Shan couldn't help but smile. This made Phil very confused, as this was clearly a document demanding accountability. The charge was, Luo Feng led Ganwu Dojo students to wantonly kill members of the Imperial Martial Group. This was a massacre, a serious crime that had violated the laws of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, and ordered the Ganwu Dojo to hand the person over. After all, Luo Feng, or rather, the members of the Ganwu Dojo on Chulong Star, were almost all citizens of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire and needed to abide by the laws of the Empire. In Phil's view, this was an extremely troublesome document, which was why he dared not make the decision himself and instead delivered it to Nuolan Shan to let him decide. You don't need to worry about this matter, I will handle it. You may leave. Nuolan Shan waved his hand, signaling Phil to go out. Yes, my lord. Phil respectfully withdrew, thinking in his heart whether his iron-blooded superior would once again choose to clash head-on with the Empire. Nuolan Shan put down the document and immediately entered the virtual universe, heading to the law enforcement department of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. After revealing his identity, they arranged for someone to receive Nuolan Shan. Hagrev. Hagrev, I knew it was you. Seeing Hagrev, Nuolan Shan appeared very angry. Little guy, don't think you can be presumptuous just because you're in the virtual universe. Hagrev said coldly. You old fart. Nuolan Shan punched Hagrev right in the face. Hagrev had reminded him, this was the virtual universe, where everyone's physical fitness was at the apprentice rank. It didn't matter if he died, so what the hell was he afraid of? Bang! Hagrev was hit in the face by the punch, and his whole body flew backward. How is this possible? Hagrev was extremely shocked. Although physical fitness was the same in the virtual universe, the soul's combat consciousness and instant reaction time of a world lord were ultimately higher than those of a universe rank. I was actually hit, and I didn't even have time to dodge. How could Nuolan Shan be so fast? How could he know that Nuolan Shan had now comprehended the law of gold, the law of wind, and the law of time? With 3 laws combined, it was bound to be different. Die for me. However, while Hagrev was shocked, he wouldn't just take a beating without fighting back. In his rage, he took out his battle blade and charged at Nuolan Shan. Welcome. Nuolan Shan naturally accompanied him and took out an axe to fight him. Because they were only at the apprentice rank, they couldn't use any laws at all, so it was just a contest of moves and footwork. For a while, they were evenly matched. However, even at the apprentice rank, Nuolan Shan could still use divine thought. Although not strong, it was more than enough to control 3 flying knives. PFFT, PFFT, PFFT. The flying knives shot out, piercing Hagrev right through the heart, and his whole body turned into a mass of data and disappeared. TCH, World Lord, nothing special. Nuolan Shan carried his battle axe, acting extremely arrogant. Hagrev's lackeys looked at each other, not knowing what to do for a moment. After all, even Hagrev was no match for Nuolan Shan, rushing up would just be seeking death. Bastard! Bastard! Hagrev, who had been killed and logged off, roared angrily. Bastard Nuolan Shan, a mere universe rank, dared to repeatedly challenge the dignity of me, World Lord Hagrev. I will kill you, I must kill you. Ah! Hagrev entered the virtual universe again, and as soon as he appeared, he swung his blade at Nuolan Shan. PFF'd, PFFT, PFFT. That's why Psyker Masters are so popular on Earth. At the apprentice rank level, a Psyker Master is a cheat. No matter how skilled an apprentice rank fighter is, their physical reaction speed cannot keep up with a Psyker Master. After all, with just a thought, they hit wherever they pointed. Ah, although Hagrev was already a World Lord rank powerhouse, his will was very firm. He still didn't give up, determined to kill Nuolan Shan, even if just once. But in the end, he overestimated his apprentice rank self. Time after time he logged back on, and time after time he was killed by Nuolan Shan. After doing this a dozen times, Hagrev finally gave up. Seeing Hagrev appear but not swing his blade, Nuolan Shan teased, "Old Ha, why did you give up so quickly? I haven't killed enough yet." Hagrev's mouth twitched, but he still didn't explode, because he had important things to do. Nuolan Shan, don't be arrogant. You must have received the document. This time we have ironclad proof that Luo Feng wantonly massacred people in the world within world. As an Empire citizen, he must be subject to the control of our Empire's laws. Hagrev said in a deep voice. Hee, Hagrev, you are truly pathetic. How many people died in the battle of the world within world? Other forces haven't said a word, yet you are here barking like a dog, and you still have the nerve to call yourself one of the top 3 world lords of the Black Dragon Mountain Holy Land. PFF'd. After saying this, Nuolan Shan spat on the ground to show his disdain for Hagrev. Nuolan Shan, don't bark impotently here either. The laws of the Empire are just. I represent the Black Dragon Mountain Empire and order you to hand over Luo Feng within 3 days. Otherwise, my Imperial Martial Group has the right to enter the dojo to apprehend Luo Feng. Hagrev was not to be outdone, actually transforming into a strict law enforcement officer. Aren't you afraid that I will enter the Ganwu secret realm and take revenge on you later? Nuolan Shan threatened. Ganwu secret realm. You aren't worthy. If you had that qualification, why would you be cowering on Chulong Star? Hagrev held Nuolan Shan in great contempt. Using this unrealistic thing to threaten a dignified world lord like me is truly ridiculous. Hee, Nuolan Shan sneered. According to normal logic, that was indeed the case. Who would leave a perfectly good Ganwu secret realm and cower on Chulong Star? But Nuolan Shan was the exception among exceptions. Let's not beat around the bush. Speak, what do you want to get from me? Nuolan Shan said, seemingly compromising. HMPH. Hagrev sneered, as if to say, it would have been better if you were like this earlier. I want the triple password for World Lord Kabu's legacy crystal ball. Hagrev demanded. Absolutely impossible. Such a treasure is enough to buy countless astral rank slaves. A single Luo Feng is not worth that price. Nuolan Shan pretended to be unwilling, while his heart was blooming with joy. Hagrev, oh Hagrev, you were the one who rushed up eagerly wanting to eat shit, so don't blame me for scamming you until you are penniless. It's not just Luo Feng, but all the members of your elite class. I heard you think quite highly of them, especially Hong and Thunder God. Hagrev threatened. Suit yourself. At worst, I'll just train another batch. Our dojo doesn't have much else, but we have plenty of students. Nuolan Shan put on an indifferent look. Nuolan Shan's attitude actually put Hagrev in a tough spot. Because if it were him, he wouldn't care about the lives of mere astral rank students. After all, the wealth of World Lord Kabu was something even World Lords coveted. I can provide corresponding compensation, Hagrev said after weighing his options. Chapter 34, Scamming Hagrev. Oh, tell me, Nuolan Shan said leisurely. 50 Hunyuan units, I will pay 50 Hunyuan units to buy the triple password. Hagrev held up 5 fingers. Hey, Nuolan Shan snorted coldly, making a move to log off. Wait, Hagrev called out to Nuolan Shan, his face dark as he asked, how much do you want? Don't even talk to me if it's less than 150 Hunyuan. Nuolan Shan stated his price. Impossible, I don't even have that much in my entire net worth. Hagrev roared. You're poor, yet you act like you're in the right. Nuolan Shan's words made Hagrev's face turn shades of green and white. He was so angry he almost flipped the table, but knowing that impatience spoils great plans, he ultimately held it back. I can offer at most 100 Hunyuan, I don't have any more than that. Hagrev stated his bottom line. According to the original plot, the 3 Axe Mountains Zhang Tianqian did indeed extort items worth 100 Hunyuan from Hagrev, but that also included other benefits. I think we should stop talking. My time is precious, and I don't have time to chit-chat with you here. World Lord Kabu's wealth rivals that of an undying, you want to buy the triple password with these peanuts, it's truly laughable. Nuolan Shan teased, again making a move to log off. 110 Hunyuan, this is the highest price I can offer, but you must guarantee that you haven't opened the legacy crystal ball. We need the virtual universe to notarize it, and we must sign a contract. Hagrev said, no problem. Compared to his previous obstruction, Nuolan Shan agreed incredibly readily this time. After all, this was the most successful business deal he had made in tens of thousands of years, and he was a little excited. However, Hagrev, who was also in a state of excitement, did not notice Nuolan Shan's abnormality. He was even laughing at Nuolan Shan's stupidity in his heart. Wealth rivaling and undying, you, a universe rank rookie, probably don't even know how much. That is, low level is just low level, poverty limits your imagination. Both of them harbored ulterior motives and quickly notarized the deal in the virtual universe, signing the contract. The stingy seller, Nuolan Shan, wasn't even willing to pay for the delivery fee, choosing to hand over the legacy crystal password at the entrance of the Ganwu dojo. Hagrev did not object to this, after all, he didn't trust anyone else to deliver it to him, so he chose to come in person on the day of the handover. Nuolan Shan did not receive him personally, only sending Bakalo to deliver the triple password, not even letting Hagrev enter the dojo for a cup of tea. Regarding Nuolan Shan's rudeness, Hagrev just snorted coldly, then flicked his sleeves and left, flying non-stop towards the Universe First Bank. When Luo Feng and the others learned that Nuolan Shan was willing to hand over the triple password for the legacy crystal ball for their sake, they were very moved. It was originally your item, it is only right to use it to protect you. Nuolan Shan said with a smile. This was not a forced smile. After all, he had, tearfully, earned 110 Hunyuan. Nuolan Shan was laughing inside the Ganwu dojo, while Hagrev was the exact opposite, he was wailing loudly inside the Universe First Bank. Because after he used the triple password to open the legacy crystal ball, not only did he not receive World Lord Kabu's legacy, but he was instead met with a mocking attack from World Lord Kabu. You idiot! Did you think I would put my legacy in a place like this? A bunch of guys whose brains are clouded by greed, just obediently let yourselves be played by me. Apart from this audio message, there was nothing else in the legacy crystal ball. Faced with an investment of 110 Hunyuan and getting this result, Hagrev could not accept it. His World Lord rank aura erupted violently, forcefully destroying the legacy crystal ball. Guest, please control your emotions, this is the Universe First Bank. The bank's AI issued a warning to Hagrev. Get lost. Hagrev was in a fit of rage and paid no heed to the warning. Not only did he not restrain his emotions, but he also yelled at the AI. The AI would not indulge him, it immediately activated the bank's defense mechanism, and several world lords surrounded Hagrev directly. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Faced with the encirclement of several world lords, Hagrev could not resist, nor did he dare to resist, because only then did he belatedly remember that the Universe First Bank was one of the 5 major giants of the universe. In the end, Hagrev was not only beaten into a pig's head and thrown out, but he was also blacklisted by the Universe First Bank. This blacklisting was not just the Universe First Bank blacklisting him, the entire banking system would list him on their blacklist. Every aspect of his life would be restricted. For example, he would be unable to transfer money when making purchases, his salary from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire could not be deposited, and he wouldn't have money to pay for entering the decisive battle space. Nuolan Shan. Hagrev could not afford to offend the universe first bank, so he could only vent his anger on Nuolan Shan. However, he could not make this matter public because it was simply too embarrassing. As one of the top 3 world lords of the Black Dragon Mountain Holy Land, he cared about his face. If people found out that he had spent 110 Hunyuan only to buy a mocking audio message, he would be laughed to death. However, while he wouldn't make it public, Thunder God's side wouldn't keep it a secret for him. Because Thunder God cultivated thunder techniques, he exchanged for World Lord Kabu's thunder secret techniques. As it turned out, opening it triggered a hidden Easter egg. He obtained World Lord Kabu's true legacy. Whether it was World Lord Kabu's thunder secret techniques, space secret techniques, or cultivation resources, they were actually all kept by World Lord Kabu's intelligent life form, Lord Wu. Lord Wu was the true legacy crystal ball. Ha ha ha. After learning the truth, the 3 of them, Luo Feng and his companions, bent over laughing and told Nuolan Shan about this joyous event. Ha ha ha. Even though Nuolan Shan had known about this for a long time, hearing it from Luo Feng and the others again, he still laughed uncontrollably. However, he suddenly said seriously, presumably, Hagrev knows by now that he has been played, and he will inevitably retaliate against us in the future. It is best not to leave the dojo in the near future. Even if you must leave, you must enter and exit secretly, so as not to be discovered. The dojo is, after all, an academy that accepts students regardless of their background, and there are definitely Hagrev spies within it. Yes, teacher. The 3 of them, Luo Feng and his companions, nodded solemnly. Calculating the time, it's about time. Notify the elite class students to come to class, it will also help them settle their minds. Nuolan Shan finally remembered that he was still a homeroom teacher. Yes, teacher. The 3 of them immediately contacted the elite class students. The students were all in the dojo and arrived shortly after. Greetings, teacher. All the students were beaming with joy and high spirits. I assume you all had significant gains in the world within world. Have you mastered a domain? Nuolan Shan asked. Teacher, I have comprehended the fire domain. One student raised his hand and said, if he remembered correctly, his name was Merlin. Apart from Merlin, no one else had comprehended a domain. You were not bad. I shall bestow this pair of rapid boots upon you, but you must still avoid arrogance and impatience, and continue to forge ahead. Above the domain, there is the law. I specialize in the law of gold, so today, while there is time, I will talk about this law of gold. Even if you are not students of the golden domain, it can serve as a reference. The law, to put it plainly, is actually the rules of the universe's operation, the principles of the universe's operation. In daily life, we must pay attention to observing the people and things around us. Nuolan Shan began to lecture. The purpose of this class was not actually to teach them the law, but to let them cultivate with a calm mind. Don't think that just because you could slaughter in the world within world, you are all that awesome. You must know, the environment of the world within world, which only has astral rank, is a special case among special cases. There is no shortage of strong individuals in the universe, and even less of a shortage of geniuses. There is always someone better. So what if you comprehended a domain? There are those who have comprehended the law. Don't be reckless, stay steady. Chapter 35, Three-Legged Golden Crow Clone. Nuolan Shan did not cultivate today, but instead stared at an incomparably huge golden egg. He felt it, today was the day the three-legged golden crow clone would hatch. Crack, crack, crack. The golden egg began to crack slowly. A scorching temperature radiated from the cracks in the eggshell. If an average astral rank individual were present without wearing battle armor, they would be instantly vaporized by this terrifying temperature. Crack. With a crisp sound, a bird's head emerged from the eggshell. Screech. With a cry, the three-legged golden crow broke out of the shell completely, soaring into the 9 heavens. Its entire body radiated raging flames, and every feather was covered in mysterious secret patterns. Its pair of eyes seemed to carry time, deep and agile. Nuolan Shan felt the gene level of the three-legged golden crow. It had reached an astonishing 100 times. And this was just the beginning. As its strength increased, the gene multiplier would also increase. There was no need for fusion with blood river crystals at all. This was an extremely terrifying talent. One must know that Luo Feng's demonic killer race clone only reached 100 times gene level, with no room for further advancement. And this was merely its most inconspicuous talent. Every talent it possessed was incredibly powerful. First talent, True Sun Body. The physical body is naturally compatible with the origin of stars. When in stars, flames, or high-temperature environments, injuries heal rapidly, strength is permanently amplified, and it fears no flame-type attacks. It is the absolute emperor of fire. Second talent, True Sun Fire. The flames inherently possess the characteristics of purification and dissolution, which suppress the soul, divine power, and law imprints. In summary, one fire burns everything. Third talent, Rainbow Transformation. A time-type escape technique. It transforms into a golden crow rainbow light, with speed far exceeding its realm, capable of short-range explosive teleportation level dashes, skilled in pursuit and escape. Fourth talent, Immortal True Spirit. As long as the True Sun Fire seed is not extinguished, the True Spirit can be reborn. It is similar to the Golden Horned Beast clone, but more reliant on the origin of fire. These are its talents. Like the Golden Horned Beast, it also has a legacy of secret techniques. Golden Crow True Body. After enlarging its body, its physical hardness, strength, and flame power skyrocket simultaneously, allowing it to directly collide with stars and crush galaxies. 10 suns across the sky, uses the origin of true fire to condense 9 flame clones. Each possesses a portion of the main body's combat power and can work together to set up the heaven-burning formation. If 10 suns roast simultaneously, the degree of roasting can be imagined. Star Furnace. Devours the core of stars, refining an eternal furnace within the body, continuously producing true sun fire and pure energy, equivalent to carrying a mobile cultivation holy land. True Flame Soul Explosion. Injects true sun fire into the opponent's soul, detonating the law fire seed. It has a killing effect on soul-type life forms and special life forms. Finally, there is the ultimate bloodline secret technique, which can only be unleashed at the true God level, world burning. Ignites the energy origin of a universe, forming a boundless sea of fire, capable of burning small universes and destroying small dimensions. As for the size of the three-legged golden crow, Nuolan Shan would have to go out to determine it. It couldn't fully expand inside the internal world. Whoosh. Taking advantage of the fact that no one was watching, Nuolan Shan left the Ganwu dojo, found a remote location in space, and released the three-legged golden crow clone. Screech. The three-legged golden crow cried out, and its body grew larger and larger at a speed visible to the naked eye. A huge, dazzling white sun appeared in this quiet space. Its diameter reached an astonishing 1 million kilometers, and its total volume reached 524 billion cubic kilometers. The number was so large that it was almost inconceivable. In short, it could hold 480,000 Earths. And this size was only because it had just been born and was only at the universe rank. If it grew up, its body would be even more massive. One can imagine that if it broke through to become undying, how massive its divine power would be, how vast its divine power would be. Luo Feng's Nether Ocean clone would only be considered a little brother in front of it. Nuolan Shan reached out his hand, and the three-legged golden crow shrank rapidly, turning into a small bird that stood obediently on his palm. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Nuolan Shan teased the three-legged golden crow, then gave it a world ring containing a large amount of cultivation resources, as well as several anonymous virtual universe sensors. Go. The three-legged golden crow immediately flapped its wings, used the rainbow transformation technique, and disappeared in an instant. Nuolan Shan was very afraid of death, so he would not put all his eggs in one basket. His main body hid in the Ganwu dojo, while the three-legged golden crow clone went to space to find a superstar to cultivate. That terrifying temperature was like taking a bath for it. After sending off the three-legged golden crow, Nuolan Shan returned to the Ganwu dojo. As soon as he sat down, he heard the system notification sound. Ding. Detected that host's disciple Luo Feng has comprehended the law of space, triggering the cashback system. Host's comprehension ability of the law of space has improved. And almost the moment the system notification sounded, Nuolan Shan automatically comprehended the law of space. After all, the law of gold is a subordinate law of the law of space, and he also had a foundation in the law of space. It seems Luo Feng has successfully gestated the demonic killer race clone. It is time to ask about his cultivation progress. Nuolan Shan did not go into seclusion directly but thought of Luo Feng. Teacher. Luo Feng connected to Nuolan Shan's call. Luo Feng, how is your cultivation of the Yan Shen weapon going? Nuolan Shan asked. Reporting to teacher, I can already skillfully unleash the first level. Luo Feng reported, after all, the demonic killer race clone could only be gestated when the golden horned beast reached the universe rank, and the gestation of the demonic killer race clone took 3 years. It was not difficult for Luo Feng to skillfully unleash the first level of the Yan Shen weapon in 3 years. If it weren't for the inability to comprehend the law of space, he might even be able to unleash the second level of the Yan Shen weapon now. How is the gestation of the demonic killer race clone going? Nuolan Shan asked again. I successfully gestated the demonic killer race clone a month ago, and today I happen to comprehend the law of space. I am preparing to try to unleash the second level of the Yan Shen weapon. Luo Feng answered truthfully. Very good. There is less than 2 years left before the start of the genius battle. I hope that by then you will be able to skillfully unleash the second level of the Yan Shen weapon. Nuolan Shan encouraged. Teacher, I will work hard. Battle intent erupted in Luo Feng's eyes. In fact, he had deeper ambitions in his heart. In 2 years, he was not satisfied with just mastering the second level of the Yan Shen weapon, his goal was the third level of the Yan Shen weapon. Although the Yan Shen weapon control secret technique stated that only universe-ranked geniuses could unleash the third level of the Yan Shen weapon, Luo Feng believed that nothing is absolute, especially since he was the special one. The human body was just a clone, the golden horned beast was the main body, and his golden horned beast main body was at the universe rank, and even the demonic killer race clone was at the universe rank. So theoretically, he met the conditions to unleash the third level of the Yan Shen weapon. However, he did not say this out loud. Firstly, he was worried that Nuolan Shan would say he was aiming too high, and secondly, he wanted to give Nuolan Shan a surprise. Of course, that was in the event of success. If he didn't succeed, he would act as if he had never had this thought, so he wouldn't let his teacher down. I will be going into seclusion for the next period of time. If you have any matters, go find Phil, he will try his best to help you. As for your senior brother Bacalo, do not disturb him. Nuolan Shan instructed. Disciple understands. Senior brother Bacalo is completely a cultivation maniac. Luo Feng, whose nickname was also Maniac, felt inferior to Bacalo's madness. No social interaction, no leisure, just cultivation, endless cultivation, he was simply a monster. Although Luo Feng's cultivation was crazy, he still had to take time to get married, have children, buy slaves, and so on. Nuolan Shan nodded and hung up the phone, then sighed and plunged into the decisive battle space. His strength was increasing too fast, there was no way around it. Please select your weapon. The decisive battle space AI reminded him. Controller weapon, Cosmic Divine Weapon. Nuolan Shan reported the weapon name with slight excitement. To be honest, he had been waiting for this day for too long. He had already memorized the control secret technique, just waiting to comprehend the law of space. Please wait. When Nuolan Shan reported this weapon, even the AI had to search for a while before calling up the Cosmic Divine Weapon, simply because its frequency of use was too low. Even a universe lord might not be able to cultivate both time and space, let alone a small universe rank. And when Nuolan Shan was facing his opponent with the Cosmic Divine Weapon, the decisive battle space AI had already sent information to the Primordial Chaos City Lord. The Primordial Chaos City Lord, as the head of the Virtual Universe Corporation, could easily pry into user privacy and naturally gave the AI instructions to discover geniuses. A genius who could cultivate both time and space was exactly what the Primordial Chaos City Lord needed. He, the great primordial Chaos City Lord, walked the path of cultivating both time and space, which is why he was more powerful than the average universe lord, able to deter billions of ethnic groups, and thus qualified to guard the human race's holy land, primordial Chaos City. It is a pity that the primordial Chaos City Lord was in seclusion and did not see this message in time. As for when he would see it, that is hard to say. He possessed endless life, and sometimes a nap would last 5,000 years, not to mention that the flow of time in primordial Chaos City was even slower. According to the ratio, 5,000 years in primordial Chaos City meant 16,400 years had passed in the primordial universe. Come on. Nuolan Shan roared and charged at the enemy opposite him. Chapter 36, Crisis of Trust. Like the Yanshen weapon, the Cosmic Divine Weapon is also divided into 9 levels. Level 1, Overlapping Axe Shadows. It consists of a formation of 9 axes, involving spatial distortion with unpredictable trajectories. Once unleashed, it is invincible at the astral rank. Level 2, Cleaving Heaven and Splitting Earth. The 9 axes combine into one great axe, imbued with the law of time and law of space, locking onto the enemy with spatial imprisonment, striking them down with heavy, powerful force. Level 3, Axe Domain. It forms an axe world with a diameter of 600 meters, invincible at the universe rank. As for the other levels, Nuolan Shan did not aim too high, he would wait until he had mastered the first 3 levels before proceeding. Alright, the author really can't make up any more, it's a headache. Readers can suggest ideas in the comments section, and if I think they're suitable, I'll use them. The 9th level can kill an undying, making it slightly stronger than the Yanshen weapon. The opponent Nuolan Shan selected was an existence who had mastered the Cosmic Divine Weapon, and he initiated the battle with the mindset of learning. Overlapping Axe Shadows. The opponent unleashed the first level of the Cosmic Divine Weapon faster than Nuolan Shan. However, Nuolan Shan was no pushover, and this first level only possessed the power to be invincible at the astral rank. He, on the other hand, was at the universe rank. With the enhancement of the law of wind, his speed was incredibly fast, and Nuolan Shan easily dodged the overlapping Axe Shadows attack. Overlapping Axe Shadows. After dodging, Nuolan Shan, having observed his opponent, actually unleashed the first level of the Cosmic Divine Weapon as well. The Nuolan Shan of now possessed unparalleled talent, even a genius like Bolin, who appears once every 10 million years in the human race, wasn't fit to tie his shoes. With his universe rank strength, comprehending a move that was invincible at the astral rank was a piece of cake. Swish, swish, swish. The 9 axes moved at great speed, as if thousands of axes were attacking at once, and because of the enhancement of the law of space, the already complex attack trajectories became even more bizarre and elusive. Boom, boom, boom. However, since the opponent was also using the Cosmic Divine Weapon, how could he not know how to counter it? As the opponent raised his hand, his 9 axes combined into one black great axe, which came crashing down like a huge mountain. No matter how the trajectories of Nuolan Shan's 9 axes changed, there was ultimately a fixed target, and this great axe was able to cover them all, blocking them completely like a shield. No, it didn't just block them, it knocked them to the ground. What a move, cleaving heaven and splitting earth. Nuolan Shan praised. If he hadn't used time acceleration to increase his speed just now, he wouldn't have been able to escape that attack. It was worthy of being a Cosmic Divine Weapon, requiring cultivation in both time and space. Its power was indeed stronger than the Yanshen weapon. At the very least, the second level of the Yanshen weapon could not threaten a universe level 9. Then take a look at mine, cleaving heaven and splitting earth. Nuolan Shan copied his move and unleashed cleaving heaven and splitting earth, the mountain-like great axe hacking towards his opponent. Axe Domain. Without surprise, the opponent unleashed the third level of the Cosmic Divine Weapon, and a massive domain appeared, not only enveloping the great axe but also enveloping Nuolan Shan. The boundless axe radiance surged towards Nuolan Shan like a tidal wave. The wave first washed over the great axe, and the great axe was dissolved by the axe radiance at a speed visible to the naked eye, turning into scrap metal. Yet the wave continued unabated, rushing towards Nuolan Shan. It seemed Nuolan Shan was about to be swallowed by the wave. The third level, Axe Domain, was not so easy to master, and for the moment, Nuolan Shan could not use it. Second style of the 9 styles of Heaven Opening, Sky Breaker. Nuolan Shan was not just a controller, he was also a glorious giant axe warrior. He hacked an axe towards his opponent. One must know that the description of the second style of the 9 styles of Heaven Opening in the secret technique was, Invincible at the Territory Lord rank. Because to successfully unleash this style, one needed to have considerable attainments in the Law of Gold. Although the Law of Gold was only a lower-level law compared to the Law of Space, if one's comprehension was deep, one could still crush those who had just crossed the threshold of the Law of Space. The magnitude of the power after unleashing a law depends on the degree of development. Boom! The axe domain was cleaved open by Nuolan Shan with one axe, and his opponent was also hacked to death by that same axe. Even with the mindset of learning, Nuolan Shan would not allow himself to die so easily. If he could kill, he would. He wanted to establish an invincible heart and walk his own path of invincibility. But how did he unleash the third level just now? It was too fast, I didn't quite see it clearly. No rush, since I've just comprehended the law of space, I should go back to reality and consolidate it. After Nuolan Shan understood his current situation, he decided to exit the virtual universe first to deepen his comprehension of the law of space. What he didn't know was that his descendant, Bulo Nuolan Shan, who was the captain of the adventure team that discovered Earth, had colluded with a group of space pirates and was heading towards Earth. Back then, just as he was preparing to make a big move, he was suddenly told to stop and was forced back to the family. That would have been fine, after all, an arm cannot twist a thigh. But as soon as he returned to the family, he received news that the patriarch had left and had disbanded the family. Are you kidding me? This was simply blocking someone's path to wealth. To hell with the patriarch's orders, the Nuolan Shan family was gone, so there was no patriarch anymore. Since the family didn't want to do it, then I, Bulo, will do it myself. Over these years, he had made some friends while wandering the universe, a group of space pirates, whose strongest member was the captain, an astral rank 7. The overall strength was on par with Bulo. Bulo was not stupid, he wouldn't cooperate with a universe rank, as that wouldn't be cooperation but purely giving away money, and he would likely be silenced. Luo Feng, the detector I left around Earth shows that a spaceship is heading towards Earth. Babata was very diligent and reported the situation to Luo Feng immediately. Didn't you say that Earth's cosmic coordinates had been concealed by Master Huyanbo and that it was extremely safe? Luo Feng asked angrily. He was now far away on Chulong Star and couldn't reach it in time. If a powerhouse occupied Earth, it would be a disaster. Don't worry yet, it's possible a new wormhole was born near the Milky Way galaxy, which is why Earth was discovered. Besides, have you forgotten that you are already the Earth Lord, and Earth is under the protection of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire? Furthermore, according to my scan, that is merely a universe-rank spaceship. With your golden horned beast true form, your demonic killer race clone, and D-Fan, these 3 universe-rank combat forces, you can absolutely crush this group of space pirates. Luo Feng, you are not the same person you were when you first left Earth. Babata said confidently. You should have said so earlier. Send them a warning message using my identity as the Earth Lord. If they don't listen, then slaughter them. A trace of brutality and bloodlust flashed in the depths of Luo Feng's eyes. That was the nature of the golden horned beast. Understood. Babata immediately executed the order and issued a warning to Bulo's spaceship. I am the Earth Lord, Luo Feng. The life planet ahead is my private territory. The foreign spaceship must leave immediately, otherwise, I will report you to the Black Dragon Mountain Empire and have you treated as space pirates. While issuing this warning, Luo Feng also presented all the documents from when he originally purchased Earth. Earth Lord. When did an Earth Lord appear? The space pirate captain looked at Bulo. Look at the date on the documents. Earth was purchased by Luo Feng 3 years ago. Furthermore, according to the information I obtained, Luo Feng is an Earth native, which further proves that Earth holds an undying treasure trove. Bulo said. What you say makes a lot of sense. The space pirate captain felt Bulo's analysis was very reasonable. How could a native buy his own planet? He must have obtained an undying treasure trove. I order the spaceship to proceed at full speed, target, Earth. The spaceship accelerated towards Earth. Luo Feng, they are ignoring the warning and are instead accelerating towards Earth. Babata reported immediately. They are really courting death. Immediately contact D-Fan to intercept them. With D-Fan's universe level 9 strength, dealing with this group of merely astral rank space pirates was naturally effortless. Bulo and the others instantly became prisoners. Don't kill me, don't kill me. I am from the Nuolan Shan family, my patriarch is Nuolan Shan. Bulo begged for mercy. What? Luo Feng was stunned. Luo Feng, I told you long ago that Nuolan Shan is not a good person. He puts on the appearance of a kind teacher in front of people, but behind their backs, he sends his clansmen to occupy Earth. He is truly two-faced, honey-mouthed and sword-hearted. Babata used every derogatory term he could think of to describe Nuolan Shan. Gritting, gritting. Luo Feng's teeth gritted, making a clacking sound, and his fists clenched tightly. Master. Chapter 37, Daggers Drawn. Teacher, teacher. Luo Feng's voice reached the place where Nuolan Shan was in seclusion, which caused Nuolan Shan to frown deeply. Because he had previously instructed that he should not be disturbed while in seclusion. Could it be that some major event had occurred, something even Phil could not resolve? Had Hagrev come to kill him? Nuolan Shan hurriedly opened the door and asked anxiously, "What has Hagrev done to you?" Huh. Luo Feng paused for a moment, then realized, and he took a deep breath and said, "Teacher, do you know Bulo Nuolan Shan?" Hearing this name, Nuolan Shan keenly sensed something was wrong. Upon closer observation, he found that Luo Feng's state today was indeed wrong. His whole body was in a tense state, and he was not even wearing his cloud-caressing vine battle armor. Combining this with the name Bulo Nuolan Shan almost instantly arrived at the answer. It seemed Bulo had used Nuolan Shan's name to do something to Earth, thereby causing Luo Feng to misunderstand. First, I had already disbanded the Nuolan Shan family several years ago, so the person you are talking about is just named Bulo. Second, you asked if I know this person. Truthfully, I have only heard his name, but I have never met him. You came to see me today, presumably because he wanted to occupy Earth. Things having reached this point, Nuolan Shan decided to take the opportunity to explain everything clearly to Luo Feng. Yes, so teacher, you really. Luo Feng said with a sorrowful face. I really what? Nuolan Shan interrupted, you don't think I sent Bulo to occupy Earth, do you? You don't even think, if I wanted to send someone to occupy Earth, why wouldn't I send someone like your senior brother Bacalo, a universe rank expert, instead of sending a mere astral rank? After all, I know better than anyone what your current strength as a golden horned beast is. And you must have forgotten, it was I who gave you the money. To buy Earth. I haven't forgotten, which is why I came. Luo Feng indicated that it was precisely because of these doubts that he did not completely believe what Babata said about Nuolan Shan being a two-faced, hypocritical person. That was why he chose to have Babata hide all his wealth and come alone to confront Nuolan Shan. But you still didn't trust me, which is why you came, Nuolan Shan said angrily. If Luo Feng had absolute trust in him, there wouldn't have been this confrontation. I couldn't help it, because everything was too coincidental. You were my teacher, yet that space pirate is your clansman. Luo Feng voiced his doubts, which was also the point he couldn't convince himself otherwise. Presumably Bulo is still alive, right? Nuolan Shan said. Yes, he is being supervised by my servant. After all, he is your clansman, teacher, so I dared not dispose of him arbitrarily. That Luo Feng could say this showed he was still more willing to believe that Nuolan Shan was a good teacher. Contact him. For your sake, I can confront him face to face. Originally, a mere astral rank like Bulo wouldn't even have the qualifications to pay him a visit, but for Luo Feng's sake, Nuolan Shan had to lower himself to confront him. Okay. Luo Feng felt a joy in his heart. Since teacher was willing to confront him, that meant the possibility of a misunderstanding was much higher. Luo Feng successfully established communication with D-Fan, and Bulo's figure appeared on the other end. Seeing Nuolan Shan beside Luo Feng, Bulo shouted excitedly, "Clan ancestor, save me. I am Bulo Nuolan Shan. Shut up. Did I not say when I disbanded the family that from then on, no one could use my name as a surname, and no one could use my, Nuolan Shan's, name as a banner?" Nuolan Shan shouted. You did say that." Bulo was intimidated by Nuolan Shan's aura and lowered his head respectfully. "When your adventure team accidentally broke into the solar system, did I not order you to withdraw immediately and not touch a single blade of grass on Earth?" Nuolan Shan questioned again. Yes. Bulo nodded in admission. This was an indisputable fact, he could not deceive anyone. "When I disbanded the family, I advised you all not to engage in such interstellar adventures anymore as it easily provokes experts. Why wouldn't you listen?" Nuolan Shan sighed. "Clan ancestor, I know I was wrong," Bulo said, weeping bitterly. However, in this situation, he probably didn't realize he was wrong, but rather realized he was going to die. "It is too late." Nuolan Shan stopped looking at him, and this sentence also pronounced his death sentence. "Di Fan, execute him," Luo Feng ordered. "Yes, master." Di Fan accepted the order and ended Bulo's life in front of Nuolan Shan, then ended the communication. "Teacher, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have doubted you," Luo Feng said shamefully. "You didn't ask Hong and Thunder God about this matter, did you?" Nuolan Shan said. "Teacher, how did you know?" Nuolan Shan was indeed right. When Luo Feng learned that Bulo was of the Nuolan Shan family, he came directly to confront Nuolan Shan and didn't even have time to discuss it with Hong and Thunder God. "Sai, you really are just a child." Nuolan Shan shook his head, closed the door, and continued his seclusion. "A child? Me?" Luo Feng did not consider himself a child, after all, he was a father himself. But when he told Hong and Thunder God about this, Hong actually said, "Teacher is right, you really are a child." While Luo Feng was confused, Thunder God lectured, "Little third, you are still too young and easily swayed by emotions. If you had just calmed down and thought about this matter, you would have discovered all sorts of loopholes, yet you still went to confront Teacher in the end. It's fortunate that Teacher favors you. If it were me, I would have just beaten you up. You don't even think, with Teacher's strength, where would he need to use schemes and plots against you? He could just crush you with pure strength. Look at Hong and me on Earth, we never use any schemes or plots, because there is nothing that cannot be solved with a single slash. It must be Babata badmouthing Teacher behind your back. Didn't you notice that he sees you getting close to Teacher, and you feel in your heart that Teacher is better than Huyanbo, so he is very jealous?" This. Luo Feng thought carefully, and it was indeed so. Compared to Hong, Thunder God, and Nuolan Shan, he was really too immature. He trusted Babata too much, thinking that because he was an AI, what he said must be right, but he forgot that Babata was already an intelligent life form and also had his own selfish motives. As Huyanbo's AI, Babata naturally hoped that Luo Feng would be closer to Huyanbo, so whenever he found an opportunity, he would slander Nuolan Shan. "Big brother, second brother, I know I was wrong. My mental state cultivation is still too weak, please help me make up for this shortcoming." Luo Feng humbly asked for advice. "Sai, I am really too jealous. Brother Hong, I'll leave it to you, I'm going into seclusion, otherwise the gap between me and you guys will only get bigger." Thunder God waved his hand and left. What does that mean? Luo Feng felt puzzled by Thunder God's words. He was clearly talking about his insufficient mental state. How did it get dragged into jealousy? "Hey," Hong smiled and explained, "the reason your mental state cultivation is insufficient is because you are too much of a genius, and compared to everything we have experienced, your life has been too smooth. What he is jealous of is this talent of yours. If we had your talent, perhaps we would have already been universe rank." Now that you put it that way, it really is. Luo Feng recalled, and it was indeed so. The biggest crisis he encountered was the decisive battle with the golden horned beast, but Hong and Thunder God had walked through the great Nirvana era, encountering countless crises and experiencing countless separations of life and death, and they had overcome them one by one, which is why they had such powerful mental state cultivation. Alright, then let's begin our cultivation. Chapter 38, the genius battle begins. When Luo Feng contacted Babata, asking him to retrieve the hidden items, Babata roared, "Luo Feng! You trust him too easily. Have you not thought about why he forced Bulo to turn back, or why he suddenly dissolved the family? Isn't this a move to act alone, so as not to implicate his family and loved ones?" Luo Feng heard this and, for the first time, snapped at Babata, "Babata, I will not allow you to speak of teacher like that. Those are just your guesses, just possibilities. Among the many possibilities you've generated, is there not one where teacher New Earth had the Huyanbo legacy, keenly sensed the danger, and thus gave it up? Or perhaps, as a universe-rank powerhouse, he disdains snatching someone else's planet?" "What do you mean, disdains snatching? If he had submitted the documents one step earlier, he could have bought Earth legally and compliantly," Babata retorted. "You said teacher could have bought Earth legally and compliantly, so why did he still take me as a disciple and give me money to buy Earth?" Luo Feng questioned. I. Babata was rendered speechless by Luo Feng's retort. "I know you feel uncomfortable because I'm close to teacher Nuolan Shan, but Babata, didn't I accept Huyanbo's legacy to inherit the Yunmo planet lineage, to become stronger, and to one day resurrect teacher Huyanbo? In this process, I will inevitably have other teachers. Do you have to hate every single one of my teachers? Are you helping me become stronger, or are you holding me back? If that's the case, then you shouldn't follow me anymore. I'll buy an AI myself," Luo Feng said sincerely. "I'm sorry, Luo Feng." Babata was silent for a long time, finally choosing to apologize to Luo Feng. "I promise I will never forcibly interfere with your decisions again, only offer you advice," Babata promised. Luo Feng smiled with relief. Having spent so many years with Babata, if he really had to let Babata leave, he would truly be reluctant. This was the best outcome. "I've opened a new Universe Galaxy bank account, and I've deposited 0.5 Hunyuan units into it for you to use as you please. I know you like playing games and surfing the internet." Luo Feng took out a new card. "Luo Feng, I love you to death." Babata was as happy as a child, kissed Luo Feng, and went off to play with the new card. Sigh, still a child. Luo Feng shook his head with a smile, which reminded him of his two sons. Virtual universe, night. In the night sky of the Black Dragon Mountain Island, a huge black banner with glowing edges suddenly appeared. On the banner were characters emitting dazzling white light. "The Universe Peak Genius Battle, held once every 10,000 years, is about to take place. Are you a genius? Can't find an opponent at the same level or rank? Then join the Peak Genius Battle. Here, countless geniuses from many universe countries across the entire universe will engage in fierce combat. For details, please enter the virtual universe via your virtual assistant to view." Oh. The moment the banner appeared, the entire Black Dragon Mountain Island boiled over. The Peak Genius Battle had finally begun. This is a grand event for the entire human race, a carnival sweeping across 1008 universe countries. Not just Black Dragon Mountain Island, everyone who enters the virtual universe can see this banner, or rather, the advertisement. To cast an advertisement across the entire virtual universe, even an undying would go bankrupt trying to do it, as the entire virtual universe is incomparably vast. Of course, this genius battle is organized by the Virtual Universe Corporation itself, so there is no fee for the advertisement. Beep. Almost at the same time he saw the advertisement, Nuolan Shan received a message from Luo Feng. "Teacher, the Universe Peak Genius Battle has started accepting registrations. Should I sign up now or wait?" "Go sign up now. By the way, can you use the second form of the Yan Shen weapon yet?" Nuolan Shan asked at the end. "I have already mastered it," Luo Feng replied. "Very good." Nuolan Shan was very satisfied and praised him. In the original work, Luo Feng could only barely use the second form of the Yan Shen weapon when the genius battle ended, but now he has already mastered it. Coupled with his early comprehension of the Golden Domain, the Law of Gold, and the Law of Space, he was a shoo-in for first place in this genius battle. Wait, it seems there's a business opportunity here. Nuolan Shan suddenly thought of something and immediately searched for betting-related matters for the genius battle in the virtual universe. Sure enough, he could find it, but because the genius battle had not officially started and was only in the registration stage, the betting markets had not officially opened yet. However, all the major betting companies had already put out advertisements. Open black lens bracket genius battle betting, stay tuned, close black lens bracket. Nuolan Shan didn't want to wait foolishly, so he ordered his AI, AFU, if the betting for the genius battle opens, use all the money in my account to bet on Luo Feng to win the championship. Master, the risk is too high, you could easily go bankrupt, AFU warned. It doesn't matter, I have confidence in Luo Feng, Nuolan Shan said confidently. If he didn't even have confidence in this, wouldn't his transmigration have been in vain? Yes, Master. AFU will keep a close watch. This is the difference between AFU and Babada, he makes intelligent analyses but doesn't act on his own like Babada. The Universe Peak Genius Battle is divided into several stages. 1. Registration and screening stage, only astral rank can participate. 2. Universe Country Selection stage, divided into preliminary rounds and arena matches, with 1,000 people selected from each universe country. 3. Genius Battle Finals stage, because there are 1,008 universe countries, there are 1,008,000 geniuses. From these people, the top 1,000 are selected to join the core of the virtual universe, and the champion is determined from those 1,000. Hagrev, who was keeping a close watch on Nuolan Shan, knew immediately that Luo Feng and others had signed up for the genius battle. Hagrev issued an order: as long as they encounter these people from the Chulong Star Ganwu Dojo in the preliminary rounds, they must do everything they can to eliminate them, even if it means mutual destruction. Nuolan Shan was holed up in the Ganwu Dojo, and Hagrev couldn't do anything to him. But he would never sit by and watch Nuolan Shan cultivate excellent disciples, he had to think of every possible way to stop it. The influence of the Imperial Martial Group is not to be underestimated, and the number of registrations is also huge, so Luo Feng encountered them. To be precise, Luo Feng was hiding there perfectly fine, but the Imperial Martial Group actually came to ambush him, courting death. Luo Feng naturally wouldn't be polite, he killed them until they cried for their fathers and mothers, fleeing in panic. However, their flight was purposeful, they were fleeing towards the residence of the Ganwu imperial family, harboring the idea of driving a tiger to devour a wolf. How dare you! How dare you trespass into the residence of our Ganwu imperial family? A patrolling member of the Ganwu imperial family shouted, and then dozens of geniuses from the Ganwu imperial family rushed out of the residence, surrounding Luo Feng. Luo Feng, you can just wait for death. Ha ha ha. The members of the Imperial Martial Group laughed heartily. That was the Ganwu imperial family, the descendants of the great Ganwu country lord, the peak bloodline of the human race, and synonymous with powerhouses. Noisy. Luo Feng didn't hesitate to control the Duntian shuttle, ending the lives of the Imperial Martial Group members right in front of the Ganwu imperial family geniuses. I'll be waiting for you in hell. Ha ha ha. Chapter 39, Hagrev cried. I am a student of the Ganwu dojo. I did not intend to intrude upon your station, so please do not attack. After finishing off the members of the Imperial Martial Group, Luo Feng cupped his fists toward the members of the Ganwu imperial family present, indicating that he had no intention of making enemies with them. It wasn't because he was afraid, but because he was currently a student of the Ganwu dojo, making him part of the same overall faction as the Ganwu imperial family. There was no need to fight to the death during the points race. Oh, so you're a brother from the Ganwu dojo. Then you're one of our own. Hello, I am Gan Ming. Hearing Luo Feng's words, a handsome man stepped out from the group and proactively introduced himself to Luo Feng. The Ganwu dojo was founded by the creator of the Ganwu imperial family, the Ganwu universe country lord. Thus, there was nothing wrong with Gan Ming saying he and Luo Feng were on the same side. The reason Gan Ming believed Luo Feng's identity so easily was because of his attire. He wore a cloud-caressing vine battle suit on the inside, but on the outside, he was wearing the student uniform of the Ganwu dojo. No one who wasn't a student of the Ganwu dojo would dress like that. Open black lens bracket at this point. I hope the readers remember our domain name. Read Taiwan novels, choose Taiwan Novels Network, twcon.com, super smooth, close black lens bracket. Hello, my name is Luo Feng. It's a pleasure to meet you. Luo Feng also gave his name. Those who were just eliminated should be members of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's Imperial Martial Group, right? Do you have a conflict with them, Brother Luo Feng? Gan Ming asked. While competing for treasures in the world within world previously, I killed many of them and earned the grudge of a world lord named Hagrev. Luo Feng didn't hide it, he wanted to make the despicable actions of the Imperial Martial Group widely known. That's truly classless. I, Gan Ming, hate people who can't afford to lose the most in my life. Gan Ming said with righteous indignation, pass down the order, kill every member of the Imperial Martial Group you see. Yes, Your Highness the Third Prince. Everyone responded respectfully. Although they were members of the Ganwu imperial family, they were all from the collateral branch and could not compare to the nobility of Gan Ming, who was from the direct line. In order to help Gan Ming achieve a good ranking and ensure the direct line of the imperial family didn't lose too embarrassingly, their main purpose for participating in this battle was to safeguard Gan Ming. So it is Your Highness the Third Prince, pardon my lack of manners. Luo Feng quickly performed the proper etiquette, having a very good first impression of Gan Ming. If the dead members of the Imperial Martial Group knew that their brilliant plan of driving a tiger to swallow a wolf had not only failed but had also caused the tiger and the wolf to cooperate in wiping out the Imperial Martial Group, they would likely cough up blood from anger. Shortly after, Gan Ming introduced Luo Feng to their most powerful member in this world zone, Magic Hammer. That was a member of the Angia Luo clan, naturally attuned to the law of Earth and known as the Darling of the Earth. They reach the universe rank upon reaching adulthood, and over 90% of the clan is born with the domain of Earth. Although Magic Hammer was not yet an adult, he stood 3 meters tall with thick, powerful limbs. He had a vertical eye and carried a black hammer, making him a truly fierce warrior. Magic Hammer, this is Luo Feng from the Ganwu Dojo. You are both true geniuses. If you team up, you should be able to achieve an even higher ranking. That way, our Ganwu imperial family will also bring honor to us, Gan Ming suggested. This little runt. Magic Hammer looked down disdainfully at Luo Feng, who was less than 2 meters tall. One must understand that in the world of Swallowed Star, bigger is better and bigger is more beautiful, being short and small meant being weak. Magic Hammer, you cannot judge people by their appearance, Gan Ming scolded. He intended to befriend Luo Feng, not offend him. Magic Hammer, I heard you specialize in killing those ranked in the top 1000 of the world zone. Let's have a competition. Luo Feng had a way of dealing with such unruly individuals, he would simply beat him into submission. Just what I had in mind. Don't blame me if you die, little runt. After Magic Hammer finished speaking, he swung his hammer at Luo Feng, even unfolding his domain of Earth to suppress him. Break. With a casual strike of his blade, Luo Feng not only directly tore through Magic Hammer's domain but also sent Magic Hammer's hammer flying. The law. Everyone's eyes widened, and Magic Hammer was especially horrified. He was known as the Darling of the Earth, yet so far he had only comprehended a domain and had not yet comprehended a law. This Luo Feng was short in stature and surely didn't possess any high-level bloodline, yet he was actually able to comprehend a law before him. Such talent was truly staggering. Still want to compete? Luo Feng said with a faint smile. No more. Brother Luo Feng, you are so strong, I submit to you. Magic Hammer was also a man of character. After being defeated in a single move by Luo Feng, he was completely convinced and willingly became his follower. Ha ha ha, Brother Luo Feng is truly a hidden talent. You will surely make a name for yourself in the genius battle. Gan Ming laughed heartily, feeling even more delighted in his heart. He hadn't expected to just stumble upon a Ganwu Dojo disciple who was actually a peerless genius who had comprehended a law. He wasn't even a student of the Ganwu secret realm, who could have trained him, and where did he pop out from? However, none of that was important, the important thing was to build a good relationship with him. Although Gan Ming was a noble prince, he needed to build his network even more. After all, he was only the third prince. Not only were there the first and second princes above him, but there were also hundreds and thousands of princes below him, yet there was only one supreme dragon throne. The third prince overpraises me. My strength is only average when compared to the entire universe, Luo Feng said modestly. Brother Luo Feng, you are too modest. I've checked the records of previous genius battles. Even the geniuses in the top 1000 of the all-universe genius battle don't necessarily all comprehend a law. The Imperial Martial Group is truly seeking death by daring to offend you, big brother. I'll go and wipe them out right now. Magic Hammer acted with swift and decisive action. After speaking, he shouldered his hammer and went off to hunt down members of the Imperial Martial Group. What's going on? What's going on? Why have the members in the East City of the First World Zone been wiped out? Hagrev continued to monitor the movements of the Imperial Martial Group participants, only to find that those in the East City area had been completely eliminated. Hagrev was counting on them to achieve good results in the genius battle so he could receive rewards from the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord and use them to turn his situation around. Now it seemed that his hope of turning things around was completely shattered. Master, not only the East City, but the participants in the West City are also losing members rapidly, Hagrev's AI reported. What exactly is going on? Who is targeting my Imperial Martial Group? Damn it, damn it. Hagrev was fuming with rage. Contact those eliminated participants for me and ask exactly who is targeting our Imperial Martial Group, Hagrev commanded. With his authority, he could only see changes in the participant list and could not see the actual battle footage of the participants. Reporting to my lord, we were ambushed and killed by the Gamu Imperial family. Without a word, they came up and killed us. Even when we fled to other city areas, they pursued us relentlessly, the eliminated members of the Imperial Martial Group said aggrievedly. What? Hagrev was stunned. The Gamu Imperial family was such a lofty and unattainable group. Even as a noble world lord, he would have to be respectful upon meeting any member of the Imperial family, let alone those participating in the genius battle, who were definitely core members of the Imperial family's geniuses. Who on earth had offended the Gamu Imperial family? Ah! In an instant, Hagrev felt as if his world was collapsing. It wasn't scary for the Imperial Martial Group to be suffering a total defeat. What was scary was that the Imperial Martial Group had offended the Gamu Imperial family. If they still hadn't appeased their anger after the genius battle ended and targeted the Imperial Martial Group in reality, or even if they just hinted even slightly at such an intention, countless subordinates would plot against the Imperial Martial Group and the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. At that time, let alone a minor figure like Hagrev, even the undying God Lord, Black Dragon, might be finished. Investigate. Find out for me exactly who offended the Gamu Imperial family. I will kill his entire family. No, I will execute 9 generations of his clan. Hagrev roared, crying out of desperation. Chapter 40. Consider your legs good. The results of the investigation made Hagrev want to cry even more. The reason the Imperial Martial Group offended the Gamu Imperial family was that a member of the Imperial Martial Group had lured Luo Feng to the Gamu Imperial family's station. And for some unknown reason, the Gamu Imperial family had actually helped Luo Feng hunt down the Imperial Martial Group, especially that magic hammer, who had killed the most. How could this be? Luo Feng has no background, and Nuolan Shan is just an ordinary giant axe warrior. How could this be? How could this be? Hagrev slumped powerlessly in his chair. Just destroy it all. This feeling of despondency reached its peak when Luo Feng used the Yan Shen weapon to kill Feng Lun, successfully passing the preliminary round and becoming the 128th place in the First World Zone. It is worth mentioning that in addition to Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God had also charged into the top 1000 of their respective world zones. The Imperial Martial Group genius, Nabini, who was originally supposed to intercept Hong, had long since been wiped out by the Gamu Imperial family and never even crossed paths with Hong. As for Thunder God, because he had received guidance from a famous teacher earlier and reached the 9th level of the astral rank earlier, his strength was greater than in the original story. His route for killing had changed, so he did not encounter Rong Jun and also successfully passed the preliminary round. Hagrev, come see me immediately. The voice of the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord resounded in Hagrev's mind. It was clear that the God Lord was filled with anger. Hagrev was paying attention to the genius battle, and naturally, the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord was as well. He had naturally seen the terrible data showing the Imperial Martial Group almost completely wiped out. Upon investigation, he received a report that was even worse than the data. The Imperial Martial Group had offended the Gamu Imperial family. This was going to be the death of him. Greetings, God Lord. Upon seeing the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord, Hagrev knelt down directly. With his status and strength, there was usually no need for such a grand gesture, a slight bow would have sufficed. However, he knew he had caused trouble, so he lowered his posture to the extreme. You are a world lord, at the very least, can you not even handle this much? It's just a few people dead, why are you relentlessly pursuing them? Now that things have reached this point, tell me, how do you plan to clean up this mess? The Black Dragon Mountain God Lord scolded. Hagrev buried his head in the ground, not daring to speak. In his heart, he grumbled, how heartless. Brolin is your descendant, after all. Go, and in my name, reward the Empire's geniuses who have achieved good results in the genius battle. Hong, Thunder God, and Wei Mu must all be rewarded. I don't care what you reward them with, but for that Luo Feng, you must reward him with the entire Milky Way galaxy, the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord ordered. The Milky Way galaxy. God Lord, he is only at the astral rank. Isn't this too valuable? Upon hearing that he was to bestow the entire Milky Way galaxy upon Luo Feng, Hagrev couldn't help but look up. The value of a galaxy is astronomical. What right does a mere astral rank have to it? Valuable. This is just for Luo Feng. Have you forgotten that he also has a teacher, that giant axe warrior Nuolan Shan? He is the most difficult one to deal with. I have inquired through many channels. In fact, right from the beginning, he was qualified to enter the Gamu secret realm, but for some unknown reason, he chose to station himself at Chulong Star. This is the reason why the Gamu dojo was so determined to protect him back then. A mere Milky Way galaxy is something others wouldn't even look at. This is a soul treasure I seized when I was adventuring in the outside territory battlefield. It is enough to withstand mental attacks from a World Lord rank. Use it as an apology gift for Nuolan Shan. The Black Dragon Mountain God Lord painfully took a necklace out of his world ring. What are you still standing there for? Go quickly. Remember, your attitude must be good, and you must be respectful. Don't mess this up again. If you can't handle this well, even I won't be able to protect you, the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord urged earnestly. Yes. Hagrev knew the gravity of the situation and understood that the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord was doing this to protect him. Otherwise, he could have just handed him over to appease Nuolan Shan's anger instead of giving up so many benefits. A galaxy is a hen that lays golden eggs, and a soul defense treasure is an even rarer item that is priceless, worth even more than a galaxy. To avoid misunderstandings, before Hagrev left, he sent a letter to the Chulong Star Dojo, which was delivered to Nuolan Shan by Phil. Hagrev is leading a team to reward the outstanding contestants of the Genius Battle. This is a bit too early, isn't it? Currently, Luo Feng and the others had only broken into the top 1,000 of the world zones, and there were 100,000 contestants in total. Such results were not particularly eye-catching, and similar situations occurred almost every session. In the original story, it was only after Luo Feng charged into the top 1,000 of the Gamu universe country that he received the reward from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. When things are unusual, there must be a demon. I must be careful and cautious. Nuolan Shan did not know that Luo Feng had established a connection with the Gamu imperial family and only thought that Hagrev had some conspiracy. Therefore, Nuolan Shan chose to close his doors and refuse to see anyone, and his disciples naturally followed suit, not even stepping out of the gates of the Gamu dojo. Don't ask. If you do, the answer is that they are preparing for battle. Therefore, when Hagrev arrived with heavy gifts, not only was there no red carpet, flowers, or applause to welcome him, but he was also given the cold shoulder. The grand and festive Imperial Honor Guard could only be stopped outside the gate, unable to even enter. If it were any other time, Hagrev would definitely have flown into a rage, brandished the banner of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, and flattened this small branch of the Gamu dojo. But today, no matter how much anger or grievance he felt in his heart, he had to hold it in. He had to stand straight, and his face had to carry a smile. He could not show any negative emotions. He stood there for a whole day, being observed and pointed at like an animal in a zoo. He was very unwilling, yet he could not leave. "My lord, should we find the Lord of Chulong Star and have him ask?" Hagrev's secretary suggested. After all, the Lord of Chulong Star was the local authority, and it would be more appropriate for him to come forward and coordinate. Let's try it. He couldn't just keep standing there like this, so Hagrev accepted his suggestion. The secretary waved at the crowd. As the local authority, the Lord of Chulong Star naturally had to accompany the imperial envoy throughout the visit. However, his rank was too low, and he had no qualifications to get close, so he could only stand in the distance and accompany him for the whole day. "My lord, what are your orders?" the Lord of Chulong Star asked. "Do you have a friendship with Mr. Nuolan Shan? Try to contact him. We can't just keep standing here, it doesn't look good for anyone," the secretary said. "All right, I will try, but I cannot guarantee anything." The Lord of Chulong Star did not dare to promise anything and only agreed to try. Just do your best." Subsequently, the Lord of Chulong Star called Nuolan Shan. He had actually prepared for the possibility that Nuolan Shan would not answer the phone, but to his surprise, it only rang a few times before Nuolan Shan answered. "Hello, Brother Chulong, is something the matter?" Nuolan Shan asked. The Lord of Chulong Star exchanged a surprised look with the secretary. "There's a chance. Brother Nuolan, are you there? The God Lord has sent an envoy to deliver rewards, but the people at the dojo said you weren't there," the Lord of Chulong Star said. "It really is the God Lord's order. I thought someone was playing a prank. I will have someone open the main gate to welcome them immediately." As soon as Nuolan Shan heard the Lord of Chulong Star's words, he knew there was no conspiracy and immediately ordered his men to open the city gate. Seeing the city gate slowly opening, everyone was stunned. Wait, it was that simple. Then what was the point of me standing there for a whole day for nothing? Consider my legs good. Chapter 41, The Frustrated Hagrev. "Ha ha ha, my dear Mr. Hagrev, welcome." Nuolan Shan, with his proud disciples, threw open the main gate to enthusiastically welcome Hagrev, a bright smile beaming on his face. Hagrev's mouth twitched, but he had no choice but to force himself to walk up and greet him warmly. "Oh goodness. I am deeply honored to serve as the special envoy for this occasion. May I ask, who is Mr. Luo Feng?" Hagrev's tone and demeanor were insincere and affected. Finally, he cast his gaze upon Luo Feng, asking a question to which he already knew the answer. "Of course, this is my proudest student, Luo Feng." Nuolan Shan responded just as affectedly and hypocritically, pulling Luo Feng to his side. "Oh wonderful. Mr. Luo Feng, you are the star of our Black Dragon Mountain Empire, the most dazzling existence in the entire genius battle. Our God Lord is deeply gratified, and I am sure you will be satisfied with this reward. No, you will definitely be very satisfied. By order of the God Lord, based on Luo Feng's outstanding performance in the Universe Peak Genius Battle, the entire Milky Way galaxy is hereby awarded to Luo Feng. We hope he continues to strive for excellence and achieve even greater success." After offering hypocritical praise, Hagrev announced the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord's decree in front of everyone. Whoosh! The entire crowd was in an uproar. Everyone, even the poorest pauper, knew the value of a galaxy. It was worth at least 1 trillion universe coins, which is 1 Hunyuan unit. That was wealth that couldn't be spent in 10 lifetimes, and a whole galaxy was like a hen that laid golden eggs, an immortal, ageless hen at that. However, Luo Feng remained unmoved. It was only 1 Hunyuan unit, his teacher had given him that much quite casually. He simply looked at Nuolan Shan. Whether to accept or decline the reward, he would listen to his teacher. The God Lord is truly too generous. Such a grand gift, how could a small astral rank like Luo Feng possibly deserve it? Luo Feng, hurry and thank the God Lord for his grace. Nuolan Shan spoke pretty words, but he hurried to have Luo Feng express his gratitude. Only a fool would turn down free money, especially when it was the Milky Way galaxy, which included Earth, something you couldn't just buy whenever you wanted. Thank you for the God Lord's grace. Luo Feng bowed in the direction of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's capital. Additionally, Hong, Thunder God, and Wei Mu also performed quite prominently in this genius battle, and the God Lord has rewards for them as well. Hagrev pointed to the various boxes within the honor guard. Originally, these items could have been brought in a world ring, but since they were rewards, they had to be presented openly and for all to see, so they had to be displayed plainly. Thank you for the God Lord's grace. Hong, Thunder God, and Wei Mu also bowed in the direction of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's imperial city. Afterward, the atmosphere became awkward, as if no one knew how to proceed. Because according to past custom, when the God Lord sent someone to bestow a reward, you would at least invite them inside, sit down for a cup of tea, and give the messenger some kind of gratuity. But Nuolan Shan was different. It was one thing to refuse to see them at first, but now that he had opened the gate, he still wouldn't let them in. What kind of behavior was this? Ahem, Lord Hagrev, since you are a busy person, I won't see you out. It was Nuolan Shan who broke the awkward silence. But this made Hagrev even more embarrassed, because he still had a gift for Nuolan Shan that he hadn't delivered yet. However, this gift wasn't something he could present in front of everyone. It concerned his own face and the face of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. But Nuolan Shan wouldn't let him in, and he dared not be alone with him. He was simply a rude and arrogant fellow. But who could he blame? Last time Hagrev came to the Ganwu dojo, he had almost wiped the place out. With a prior record, you couldn't blame others for looking at you with prejudice. Everything was Hagrev's own doing. Thank you all for your hard work. Go ahead and bring the items inside, Nuolan Shan commanded, and immediately, many Astral Rank 9 students went to move the items. Wait, Hagrev interjected. Retreat, Nuolan Shan shouted, leaping backward simultaneously. He quickly took out a token containing a World Lord's strike, ready to crush it at any moment to deliver a lethal blow to Hagrev. Clang! The Ganwu dojo students drew their weapons in unison. The atmosphere plummeted to freezing, and a battle was on the verge of breaking out. This scene left Hagrev's side completely bewildered. What was going on? It wasn't their first or second time bestowing rewards, but this was the first time they had been shut out, let alone faced with a fight. Don't do this, we are all civil officials. Hagrev had black lines on his forehead and was on the verge of exploding, but he still raised his hands with a smile and said, "Don't be nervous, don't be nervous. Please, there's no need to rush, I still have one more reward to bestow." Ahahaha. Nuolan Shan hurriedly put away the token and smiled awkwardly. A misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. The God Lord is truly too kind, too kind. As he spoke, he gestured for the students to put away their weapons. The students of the Chulong Star Dojo performed excellently, and it is all thanks to you, Nuolan Shan, the one-leaf Ganwu practitioner stationed here. So, this final reward is for you, it is a soul defense treasure. Hagrev took a box out of his world ring. When he opened the box, a faint white light emanated from it. The value of this gift far exceeded that of a galaxy. After all, the soul was the most fragile part of a person. Thank you for the God Lord's grace. Nuolan Shan bowed in the direction of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's capital, and then, before Hagrev could react, he used his mental energy to snatch the treasure box from Hagrev's hand, as well as all the other rewards, into the dojo with lightning speed. Is there anything else? Nuolan Shan confirmed. No, Hagrev shook his head honestly. Safe travels, I won't see you out. Close the gates. Bang! Nuolan Shan's series of movements were smooth and fluid, completely leaving Hagrev at a loss for what to do. The items had been delivered, but the mission wasn't completed yet. However, in the current situation, the mission couldn't proceed at all. He couldn't force his way through the gate, that would only escalate the conflict. Sir, what do we do now? Looking at the tightly shut gate, the secretary asked. Who do you expect me to ask? Hagrev roared. He was full of rage with nowhere to vent, and the secretary had basically walked right into the line of fire. The secretary shrank his neck in fear and hurriedly retreated to the side, not daring to speak. Hagrev looked around and saw the Lord of Chulong Star acting like an ostrich in the crowd, and suddenly, he had an idea. You there, come here. Hagrev beckoned to the Lord of Chulong Star. The Lord of Chulong Star pretended not to see him. Good heavens, even the closest secretary had been yelled at. If he went up there, wouldn't he be asking for a beating? Chulong, get over here. Hagrev called the Lord of Chulong Star by name. Me. The Lord of Chulong Star pointed at himself in confusion, then hurried over. Sir, please give your orders. The Lord of Chulong Star stood at attention, ready to be hit. Contact Nuolan Shan. I want to meet with him privately, I have important matters to discuss, Hagrev said. Ah, sir, this. The Lord of Chulong Star looked troubled. Boss, do you even hear yourself? Why would my brother Nuolan Shan meet you alone? Does he value his life so little? You aren't agreeing. Hagrev grew angry, and the air temperature plummeted. No, I'll contact him right now, immediately. The Lord of Chulong Star had no choice. After all, he was a bureaucrat, and in officialdom, a higher rank could crush you. Right in front of Hagrev, the Lord of Chulong Star contacted Nuolan Shan and even turned on the speakerphone. Meet privately. He must be out of his mind. Tell him that during the preparation period for the genius battle, no idlers are allowed, and he is forbidden from disturbing me. I'm busy, hanging up. Hee, come here, my little baby. Nuolan Shan refused directly from the other end and even made some rather unharmonious sounds. Let's go. After hearing that, Hagrev gnashed his teeth in anger and left with his honor guard, looking crestfallen. If this can be endured, what cannot? Just let it be destroyed, let it be. Chapter 42, Encountering Rong Jun. Nuolan Shan took the necklace out of the box and squeezed it hard, but the necklace remained completely undamaged. One must know that with his Universe Level 9 explosive power, crushing a mountain would be as easy as crushing tofu. This was enough to show that the quality of this necklace was extremely high. There was no need to handle it with extreme care, worrying about it getting dinged or bumped here and there. And durability was merely its most insignificant feature, it was also extremely beautiful. It was more dazzling and brilliant than any diamond. Although Nuolan Shan was a straight man who didn't like jewelry, he had to admit its beauty. However, the necklace's primary function was soul defense, capable of resisting World Lord rank telepathic attacks. In other words, even a World Lord rank illusionist would not be able to make the wearer fall under an illusion. According to the data AFU found, the value of this necklace should be between 50 Hunyuan units and 100 Hunyuan units. This was definitely a grand gesture, no wonder even the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord was a bit reluctant to part with it. It really is a good item. Nuolan Shan nodded with satisfaction, then turned around and gave the necklace to Bakalo. Teacher, this was bestowed by the Black Dragon Mountain God Lord, how can I accept it? Even the unruly and fearless Bakalo felt his hands tremble when facing this necklace. This was like in ancient China, where an item bestowed by the emperor, instead of being enshrined at home, was casually given to one student. This was blatant disrespect to the emperor, plotting rebellion, and would lead to the execution of one's entire clan. Since it was given to me, it is my property, and I have the right to dispose of it. Besides, if you wear it on your body and don't flaunt it, no one will know. Take it, you know my personality, I never take back what I've given away. Nuolan Shan said, brooking no refusal. Thank you, teacher. Bakalo had no choice but to accept the necklace and immediately hung it around his neck. Ding. Detected that the host has bestowed an item upon disciple Bakalo. Triggering 100x cash back. The returned item has been stored in the host's world ring. Please check it. As Bakalo accepted the necklace, the system's beautiful voice rang out in Nuolan Shan's mind. After Bakalo left, Nuolan Shan hurriedly checked the returned item in his world ring. It was not a necklace, but a simple, ancient-looking small bell, with many mysterious runes carved upon it. The system's introduction was, Spirit Illusion Bell, capable of resisting undying mental attacks, and can reflect mental attacks from those below the undying level. At the same time, its physical defense is also impressive, even ordinary world lords cannot shatter it. In short, it was higher grade than the necklace just now. Not bad, not bad. Nuolan Shan was very satisfied. He immediately used his telekinesis to penetrate the spirit illusion bell, imprinting his soul mark into its core to claim ownership. From then on, only he could use this treasure unless he erased the soul mark within. The master is calling. The master is calling. Just at this moment, someone called Nuolan Shan. Nuolan Shan looked and saw that it was actually the Lord of Chulong Star. "Hello, brother, has Hagrav left?" Nuolan Shan asked. "I've confirmed he has left the range of Chulong Star, so I am calling you." "Congratulations, brother, for training so many excellent disciples. Don't forget about me when you become successful in the future," the Lord of Chulong Star said with a chuckle. "How could I? Brother, you are my benefactor." Nuolan Shan changed the subject, but having said that, what was Hagrav's purpose in coming here this time? "I don't believe Luo Feng and the others could receive such generous rewards just by passing the preliminary round. That would only make sense if they charged into the top 1000 of the Ganwu universe. Country. According to the information I received, the Lord of Chulong Star lowered his voice. Hagrav came to sue for peace this time, or to be precise, to beg for mercy. Your disciple Luo Feng has made something of himself. He has become friends with a prince of the Ganwu imperial family. Hagrav and the God Lord are worried about the Ganwu imperial family targeting them, so they spared no cost and cast aside their pride to come and deliver gifts. Brother, you don't have to hole up in your dojo anymore. You can walk around freely. Hagrav will absolutely not dare to touch a single hair on your head. Oh, so that's how it is. I just found out about this myself. No wonder Hagrav had a change of heart. Thank you for telling me, brother. I must say, these past few years have really stifled me. Nuolan Shan realized, and at the same time, transferred 10 million Ganwu coins into the account of the Lord of Chulong Star. Oh, brother, why are you transferring money to me? The Lord of Chulong Star saw the change in his account balance and couldn't help but reproach him jokingly. Brother, gathering information also requires expenses, doesn't it? Besides, I came into some wealth today, so a mere 10 million Ganwu coins is nothing. Nuolan Shan said. Sigh, brother, you are too polite. Given our relationship, there's no need to be so formal. Don't do this next time. Speaking of which, the God Lord sent an envoy to bestow rewards because of Luo Feng and the others' excellent performance. As their elders, shouldn't we hold a grand banquet to celebrate and, by the way, promote our dojo? The Lord of Chulong Star suggested. I don't have the habit of popping champagne at half-time. Let's wait until after the genius battle concludes. Nuolan Shan did not want to be too ostentatious. Besides, they had only passed the preliminary round. There were still the arena battles and the finals ahead. There were still a few years left until the end of the genius battle, so it was too early to celebrate. However, brother, I have great confidence in Luo Feng. His strength is not at all inferior to the winners of past genius battles. If you are interested, brother, you can place a bet on him. Nuolan Shan gave a hint. Is that so? Luo Feng is one of our own, so of course I will fully support him. The Lord of Chulong Star replied with a chuckle. It was unknown whether he would actually bet on Luo Feng to win first place, but the opportunity had already been given to him. Whether he could seize it would depend on himself. Hong and Thunder God were very optimistic about Luo Feng. They did not hesitate to sell all the rewards they had received for Ganwu coins and then bet all their assets on Luo Feng. They knew better than anyone just how powerful Luo Feng had become. The 1-month rest period passed quickly, and the arena battles were immediately upon them. Those who could participate in the arena battles were all experts from the top 1000 of each world sector. Therefore, right from the start, Luo Feng used the Yan Shen weapon instead of hiding his strength by using the Duntian shuttle. Relying on the first form of the Yan Shen weapon, Luo Feng could be said to be invincible, winning every battle. His ranking climbed steadily, and his points changed again and again. Soon, he met the powerful Rong Jun. In the original story, Luo Feng was killed by Rong Jun after encountering him in the arena battles. Now with Nuolan Shan's intervention, could Luo Feng change his own destiny? Facing the highly oppressive aura of Rong Jun, Luo Feng said, "You are the strongest opponent I have encountered so far." You are too. Rong Jun also had to admit Luo Feng's excellence. The two of them could be considered heroes appreciating heroes, regretting not meeting sooner. But immediately after, Rong Jun added, I will defeat you first, and then end myself. High-density reincarnation battles are very helpful for my cultivate, and I will definitely participate. Then, let us decide the victor. Luo Feng said with blazing battle intent. The arena battles decided not only the victor but also life and death. Chapter 43, The Attention of the Ganwu Country Lord. Rong Jun wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, took out a brand new battle blade, and excitedly said, I didn't expect that I would need to take out my earth-splitting blade just to secure a spot in the Ganwu universe country. Two Rong Jun suddenly appeared on the arena. Luo Feng swept his consciousness over them and discovered that both Rong Juns were real. This was an application of the law of space. In other words, besides mastering the law of Earth, Rong Jun had also mastered the law of space. Since that's the case, then try this move of mine. Yan Shen Weapon, Second Form, Sky-Piercing Strike. The 9 illusionary swords merged into one, becoming a massive golden sword. This move incorporated the law of space and came with the ability to imprison space. Rong Jun knew that if he were hit by this strike, he would surely die, so he channeled the laws with all his might, trying to break through this spatial imprisonment. It had some effect, but not much. He could only manage to slightly change the direction of his body, but the giant sword was simply too large. Slightly changing his body's direction was not enough to dodge it. Rong Jun knew he had no way to avoid it. Kill. At this life or death moment, Rong Jun unleashed his strongest attack. Boom. The outcome was decided. Luo Feng stood there, while Rong Jun had been cut into 2 pieces. Luo Feng, you are very strong, but I will catch up to you. See you in the finals. After leaving these words, Rong Jun vanished. The entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire was in an uproar because their empire had produced a peerless genius, the #1 in the Ganwu universe country. Heavens, this was an unprecedented, and perhaps even unrepeatable feat. Especially because they were from the same country as Luo Feng, many had bet on Luo Feng to win, so they had made a fortune. The Lord of Chulong Star was even more excited and came to the Ganwu dojo overnight to celebrate with Nuolan Shan. Brother, you really are my benefactor. I bet half of my net worth on Luo Feng winning, and now my net worth has increased by more than 100 times, ha ha ha. The Lord of Chulong Star could not contain his joy. This is just the beginning, there is still the finals, that will be the real feast. Nuolan Shan raised his glass and said, right, there is still the finals. I have paid attention to every genius battle, and Luo Feng being able to use the second form of the Yan Shen weapon makes him absolutely the #1 in the genius battle. I really envy you, why don't I take on a disciple to train as well? The Lord of Chulong Star strongly agreed. I think so too. Nuolan Shan had the same confidence. While Luo Feng was advancing triumphantly, Hong, Thunder God, and Wei Mu had already been eliminated and failed to break into the top 1000 of the Ganwu universe country. Wei Mu was just an elite class student, so Nuolan Shan did not care, but both Hong and Thunder God were on the path of steady accumulation. Now was not yet the time for them to shine, and the fact that both of them passed the preliminary round had actually already exceeded Nuolan Shan's expectations. However, Hong and Thunder God were not discouraged, instead, they happily celebrated for Luo Feng. Being #1 in the Ganwu universe country almost guaranteed a 100% chance of joining the Virtual Universe Corporation and becoming a core member of one of the 5 giants. That status and position, even if one were only at the astral rank, would be comparable to an undying. Just like in the original story, the World Lord of Time, Luo, approached Hong shortly after, wanting to take him as a disciple and cultivate him with all his might within his limited lifespan. Hong asked for Nuolan Shan's opinion. Nuolan Shan thought for a moment and said, although Luo is only a World Lord, his full burst is comparable to an undying army lord, he is just unlucky. His lifespan is running out, so he will definitely cultivate you with all his might. This is currently your best choice. Even if you could join the Ganwu secret realm, you wouldn't have a teacher as powerful as him to teach you. Thank you, teacher. I understand. After settling things back home, I will go on a space adventure with him to fight for that sliver of hope. Hong's gaze was very firm, giving people the feeling that he would have no regrets even if he died. We don't know when we will meet again. A poor man at home, a rich man on the road. I have transferred 10 Hunyuan units to your account, take it and spend it. Nuolan Shan generously transferred 10 Hunyuan units to Hong's account, enough for him to become a 3-star user of the Universe Galaxy Bank. Teacher, this is too much, Go. Hong wanted to refuse, but was forcefully interrupted by Nuolan Shan, who directly chased him out. Teacher, what about my cultivation later? Thunder God asked from the side. Since the Great Nirvana era, he had been cultivating with Hong and had almost never been separated. Hong had always been the target he was chasing. Now that Hong was going to wander the universe, he had lost his direction for a moment. Although your state of mind is not bad, your heart nature is still like a child. Go participate in the Giant Axe Life-Death battle. After winning the title of Giant Axe Warrior, I will help you make a breakthrough to the universe rank. Nuolan Shan said. Teacher, that is very dangerous. I might die. Thunder God refused as soon as he heard it. You have no right to refuse. You have always had Hong as your support. The Giant Axe Life-Death battle has no retreat, you can only rely on yourself. Nuolan Shan would not allow any rebuttal and forced Thunder God to participate in the Giant Axe Life-Death battle. Teacher, am I still your favorite disciple? Thunder God immediately started acting like a child, playing tricks and acting spoiled. Although he was old enough to be Luo Feng's grandfather, in front of the 80,000-year-old Nuolan Shan, he was just an unweaned child. Shut up. Veins bulged on Nuolan Shan's forehead. If the people of Earth saw their second elder like this, they would probably call it an eyesore, and their idol filter would shatter. I gave Hong 10 Hunyuan units, and I will give you 10 Hunyuan units as well. If you don't want to die in the Giant Axe Life-Death battle, then use this money well to improve yourself. Nuolan Shan paused and continued. Although your aptitude is not as good as Luo Feng and Hong's, never forget that you are still a genius who fought your way out. You must believe in yourself and never belittle yourself. Yes, teacher, I understand. Goodbye, teacher. Thunder God did not refute at all, took the money, and left happily. I always feel like something is wrong. Damn it. How could a person who fought out of the Great Nirvana be afraid of the Giant Axe Life-Death battle? He was just pretending to be pathetic to scam money from me. What happened to the innocent heart? Turns out even the heart of an innocent person is this dirty. This brat. Nuolan Shan cursed angrily, then went to spend money happily. After all, in this short while, his account had increased by 2,000 Hunyuan units, he couldn't just leave it there to count money for fun. In the Gamu secret realm, the great Gamu country lord was also paying attention to this genius battle. As the poorest person in the universe, he most hoped that his universe country would produce a stunning genius. However, for nearly 100 sessions, the performance of the Gamu universe country in the genius battle, while not the worst, had not reached his expectations. You must know that the Gamu universe country is at an upper middle level among the entire human race, and only he, the Gamu country lord, cultivates geniuses with such great effort. Where else do other universe countries have official training? Institutions like the Gamu Dojo. So when he learned that someone could defeat Rong Jun, the Gamu country lord was very satisfied, because he clearly knew Rong Jun's strength. In past genius battles, Rong Jun's strength was enough to break into the top 3. Whose disciple is this Luo Feng? He is not a member of our secret realm, right? The Gamu country lord pointed at Luo Feng in the video and asked. Reporting to the country lord, Luo Feng is a student of our Gamu Dojo Chulong Star branch. His teacher is called Nuolan Shan, who is a one-leaf Gamu practitioner. The 13th Divine General reported. He had long since investigated Luo Feng clearly before coming to see the country lord. Oh, a small branch can actually cultivate such a genius. It seems that this Nuolan Shan's teaching ability is quite extraordinary. After the genius battle ends, summon him into the secret realm. The Gamu country lord ordered. Yes, my lord. The 13th Divine General accepted the order. It seems that the effort to discover talent also needs to be increased. Why was a genius like Luo Feng not recruited into the secret realm? Geniuses need guidance from famous teachers more, otherwise, they are easily buried. The Gamu country lord pointed out. Your subordinate will obey. The 13th Divine General's back began to sweat. He was responsible for this area, it was his serious dereliction of duty. Chapter 44, Fighting Bolan. After Luo Feng secured first place in the Gamu Universe country, he followed the top 1,000 geniuses to enter the trial tower. Relying on the strength of his second stage Yan Shen weapon, he successfully cleared the 5th tower and arrived at the final level of the 6th tower, where his opponent was a Zerg Queen Mother. Upon seeing the giant sphere floating in the air, Luo Feng immediately thought of the number 31 ancient civilization ruin in Shenongjia, Earth. That was actually a Zerg hive. Heavens, that thing is considered a calamity-level entity. If it were alive, let alone Earth, even the entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire wouldn't be able to withstand it. Babata, why didn't you tell me that was a Zerg hive? Since it concerned the safety of Earth, even while still in the trial tower, Luo Feng split a portion of his consciousness to question Babata. Relax, relax. Master had already put it to sleep long ago, it is very safe, Babata said airily. Asleep, which means it is still alive. Damn it. Luo Feng cursed angrily and hurriedly went to find Nuolan Shan. Teacher. Luo Feng, aren't you in the middle of the trial tower? How can you split your attention to contact me? Nuolan Shan said displeased, feeling that he didn't know the gravity of the situation. Teacher, there is a sleeping Zerg hive on Earth. I would like to ask teacher to help me go take a look, Luo Feng pleaded. A Zerg hive. Nuolan Shan feigned surprise, then readily agreed, I will set off for Earth right now, you focus on your competition. Thank you, teacher. Luo Feng immediately felt relieved, his consciousness returning to focus on the competition. However, in the short moment his consciousness was distracted, he had already been heavily surrounded by the insect race in the trial tower. Even with his consciousness returned, he could not turn the tide and eventually stopped at the 7th level of the 6th trial tower. However, this result was enough, second only to Bolan, that once in 10 million years genius. Soon, the day of the finals arrived, and Luo Feng faced Bolan. Bolan was dressed in white, carrying a long sword on his back, with an indifferent expression, looking at Luo Feng as if he were looking at a dead person. It wasn't specifically aimed at Luo Feng, it was just his personality, so everyone gave him the nickname, Death God. Luo Feng's nickname actually wasn't very pleasant either, Madman, which was even worse than Rong Jun's, Savage, nickname. Bolan, everyone believes that you are the uncrowned king of this genius battle, a rare genius seen once in 10 million years. But I don't think so. I promised my teacher that I would take first place in this genius battle to repay his kindness in teaching me, Luo Feng said, looking up at Bolan. Oh, you are very confident. But relying solely on the second stage of the Yan Shen weapon is not enough. Clearly, even Bolan never underestimated his opponents, he had watched the video of Luo Feng's matches. I will prove it to everyone. Sky-piercing strike. After saying this, Luo Feng suddenly launched an attack. The speed is not bad, but it is still too slow. Clearly, Nuolan Shan's comprehension of the law of space was deeper than Luo Feng's, so even though the second stage of the Yan Shen weapon had the ability to restrict space, it still couldn't constrain Bolan. He not only dodged the attack of the Yan Shen weapon but also appeared behind Luo Feng, his long sword gently thrusting forward. Nuolan Shan was on a spaceship heading to Earth, watching the live broadcast of the battle between Luo Feng and Bolan. Seeing this scene, he couldn't help but frown. He didn't expect that even though Luo Feng had unleashed the second stage of the Yan Shen weapon, he still couldn't suppress Bolan. In the original story, Bolan had used this very light sword strike to wound Luo Feng, eventually suppressing him until he died. However, Luo Feng smiled. As if he had anticipated this, his body suddenly twisted, and Bolan actually missed his strike. Bolan was also very surprised by this. He didn't expect that besides himself, there was actually another genius in this competition whose attainment in the law of space was also this impressive. Pulse Soul Seal. Luo Feng was a Psyker master. After creating some distance, he instantly activated his secret technique, a formless mental shock striking directly at Bolan's soul. For a moment, Bolan only felt a wave of dizziness in his head, and his body began to sway involuntarily. Opportunity. Luo Feng seized the moment, activated the sky-piercing strike, and a giant golden sword slashed directly toward Bolan. Boom. Bolan was hit, but he was still standing, only with blood at the corner of his mouth, appearing slightly disheveled. How is that possible? Both Luo Feng and Nuolan Shan were stunned. How could Bolan, an astral rank 9th stage, withstand a direct hit from the 2nd stage of the Yan Shen weapon? Damn, if he's this strong, how can Luo Feng possibly take first place? In the original genius battle, Bolan must not have revealed his true strength. Fu, stop betting, stop betting. Nuolan Shan hurriedly called out to his AI. Master, all your funds were already bet on Luo Feng to win when the betting opened, and it cannot be withdrawn. Fu gave Nuolan Shan a desperate answer. Even though Nuolan Shan was a cheater, he felt a headache and heartache, everything hurt. It's over, he was going to lose everything. Hopefully, a miracle would happen. Luo Feng, you have successfully angered me. Bolan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. The surrounding space distorted, and the law of wind was also revealed. The fusion of the two laws allowed his speed to reach a terrifying level. Come on. Luo Feng roared, and the law of gold and the law of space were also revealed simultaneously. Luo Feng only felt a blur before his eyes. Bolan had already arrived in front of him. His blood-colored long sword turning into a bolt of blood-colored lightning. Sword domain, open. Luo Feng shouted, and a domain formed with him at the center, constructed from 729 small golden swords. Hum. They hummed continuously, they were densely packed, they were unpredictable, they were everywhere, they were peerlessly sharp. Block it. Bolan reacted quickly, rapidly changing his moves, releasing endless wind blades, attempting to block the attacks of the small golden swords. Ding, ding, ding. The sound of metal clashing was endless, yet it could only weaken the attacks of the small golden swords and ultimately could not block them. Puff, puff, puff. Bolan was pierced into a beehive and fell down unwillingly. Oh, Nuolan Shan was so happy he flew up, smashing the ceiling of the room. A miracle had actually happened. This brat, he could use the 3rd stage of the Yan Shen weapon and didn't tell me, making me worry for half a day. Nuolan Shan wiped away tears of relief from the corners of his eyes. This time, not only would he not become a pauper, but his net worth could also increase 100-fold. Thrilling. While Nuolan Shan was happy, Gao Sheng was crying miserably. Although he claimed to be Luo Feng's brother, he hadn't bet on Luo Feng to win this match, but to support his brother, he had also painfully refrained from betting on Luo Feng to lose. Brother Luo Feng, His wailing shook the sky, like he was mourning his parents. Let us congratulate His Highness Luo Feng for winning first place in this year's Genius Battle. The host said with tears in his eyes, pretending to be excited, because he had bet on Bolan to win. Sob, sob, sob. Who could have thought, who could have thought? It had already reached this point, and Luo Feng was still hiding his strength. He could have swept through everything relying on the 3rd stage of the Yan Shen weapon, but he just had to give such a huge surprise. Luo Feng held the Yan Shen weapon high, and shouted loudly, Teacher Nuolan Shan, I did it. Luo Feng's name resounded throughout the universe, and at the same time, Nuolan Shan's name also resounded throughout the universe, because he was the teacher who had trained such a genius as Luo Feng. Especially after those powers conducted an investigation and discovered that Nuolan Shan was not some undying spiritual god, not even a world lord, but merely a universe rank, an ordinary one-leaf Ganwu practitioner from the Ganwu dojo. The impact and shock this brought them was in no way inferior to Luo Feng defeating Bolan. One must know that among the top-ranked geniuses in the Genius Battle, which one didn't have an undying spiritual god or universe exalt training them. Take the 4th place Wuka, for example, his old ancestor was a universe exalt. Nuolan Shan's teaching level was raised to an unprecedented height. Titles like first-class mentor or special-class mentor were not worthy of him, so people created a new title, Holy Mentor. The title of Holy Mentor is truly resounding. 13. You go personally and invite this Holy Mentor into the Gamu secret realm, Gamu Country Lord said with a smile. For a talent with such teaching ability, let alone universe rank, even if he were only planetary level, Gamu Country Lord would make an exception and admit him into the secret realm. This was a treasure trove capable of continuously producing the top 3 geniuses in the entire universe. Being full for one meal versus being full for every meal, the value of these two things was worlds apart. It was just that currently, Nuolan Shan was not at the Chulong Star Gamu Dojo, he was on his way to Earth. Chapter 45 Zerg Hive. As expected of the methods arranged by Zuo Shenk. Looking at the ordinary-looking blue planet, Nuolan Shan couldn't help but exclaim. His spaceship hovered above Earth for a long time, yet he could not discern what was different about Earth, or why it could allow the race born on Earth to be born with powerful souls. Oh well, we'll talk about it later. AFU, enter Earth's atmosphere. Nuolan Shan commanded, and the spaceship transformed into a streak of light, rushing toward Earth. Nuolan Shan did not secretly infiltrate Earth this time, instead, he had notified Luo Feng's wife, Xu Xin, in advance. Xu Xin was not surprised by Nuolan Shan's arrival because Luo Feng had already informed her 3 days ago. She had even prepared a grand welcome banquet for Nuolan Shan, which all global high-level leaders would attend. However, Nuolan Shan refused, he couldn't be bothered with such meaningless socializing. Furthermore, while these people held considerable power on Earth, they were nothing in front of Nuolan Shan. Once they left Earth, they didn't even qualify to be sold as slaves. Nuolan Shan went directly to Luo Feng's manor, and only Luo Feng's family was allowed to see him. Teacher. This was how Luo Feng's entire family addressed Nuolan Shan, including Luo Feng's parents. Their attitude toward Nuolan Shan was extremely respectful, filled with both reverence and fear. You don't need to be so nervous, I am actually quite amiable. Nuolan Shan even intentionally wore a kind smile. However, Luo Feng's family did not think so, because Nuolan Shan's aura was simply too strong, and the power he wielded was too overwhelming. In front of him, they were as weak as ants. Even though they were close, they were instinctively afraid. And, to be honest, Nuolan Shan looked even scarier when he smiled than when he didn't. Observing that they were even more nervous, Nuolan Shan came up with an idea and said, I heard from Luo Feng that Earth has a custom. When an elder meets a junior for the first time, they must give some sort of gift. No need, no need. Xu Xin hurriedly waved her hands. Luo Feng had invited Nuolan Shan over to help solve the Zerg Hive issue. Logically, they should be paying Nuolan Shan a fee, so how could they accept a gift from him? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Come, everyone gets one. Nuolan Shan waved his hand, and a box appeared in front of each of them. Although Luo Feng's 2 sons, Luo Ping and Luo Hai, had been instructed not to be unruly, they were children after all, and couldn't really take such advice to heart. It was already rare that they hadn't spoken for so long, so upon seeing the gifts, they eagerly opened the boxes. Inside the box lay a blood-red fruit. This is a blood crystal fruit. It has the effects of enhancing bloodline, prolonging life, and healing injuries, Nuolan Shan introduced. Teacher, this is too valuable, we cannot accept it. Luo Feng's parents immediately closed the boxes and pushed them back toward Nuolan Shan. They had started coming into contact with the universe a few years ago and knew the value of such items, they might even be worth more than the entire Earth. Keep them, this is a small matter for me. Luo Feng won first place in the genius battle, and as his teacher, I also made a fortune. Alright, let's stop reminiscing here, it's time to talk about business. Nuolan Shan did not allow them to refuse and steered the conversation to the real business. Ping Ping, Xiaohai, say goodbye to Grandpa. Luo Feng's mother said to the 2 children. The 2 children obediently said to Nuolan Shan, goodbye, Grandpa. At the same time, they waved their little hands, which was very cute. Nuolan Shan smiled. Although the original Nuolan Shan had been an old ancestor for many years, this transmigration traveler was actually being called Grandpa for the first time. You 2 little ones. Nuolan Shan waved his hand, and a pendant appeared around the necks of the 2 children. It had a restriction set by Nuolan Shan. Once the children suffered a fatal attack, the pendant would be activated. It contained Nuolan Shan's full power strike, enough to kill any opponent below the World Lord rank. Thank you, Grandpa. The two children happily accepted the gift and left the room with their grandparents. Shu Xin opened a projection and said, Teacher, the Zerg hive is located deep in the Shenangjia of our Earth. We have named it the No. 31 Ancient Civilization Ruin. In the past, we didn't know what it was, we only knew that it was surrounded by deadly poison, making it hard for ordinary people to approach, and nothing grew for miles around. Indeed, as could be seen from the photos provided by Shu Xin, with the Zerg hive as the center, the air was filled with a pale green poisonous mist. The closer one gets to the Zerg hive, the stronger the toxicity. So far, apart from the photos, no one has been able to truly get close to the Zerg hive, so that is all we know about it, Shu Xin said. I understand. Send me its precise coordinates, and I will go have a look. Nuolan Shan nodded. Teacher, will you not rest for a night? After all, you have just arrived on Earth, Shu Xin said. We can talk about rest later, business is more important. Nuolan Shan waved his hand, it was just a ride on today's spaceship, not enough to tire him out. All right then. Shu Xin did not insist further and sent the precise coordinates of the Zerg hive to Nuolan Shan. After glancing at the coordinates, Nuolan Shan flew directly toward Shenangjia. Watching the streak of light that Nuolan Shan had turned into disappear into the distance, Shu Xin said worriedly, Ahua, do you think teacher can deal with the Zerg hive? According to the information I found, it is almost impossible. That is a disaster that even the Undying cannot resist, and teacher is only at the universe rank. We should prepare for the worst and earn enough universe coins to launch the global immigration plan before the Zerg hive wakes up, Luo Hua said. Although Luo Hua was not a martial artist, he was calmer than any martial artist. It was precisely because of this calmness that he was invincible in the treacherous stock market. I will communicate with the leaders of the 5 major nations, Shu Xin said. With Nuolan Shan's speed, he quickly arrived at Shenangjia. With a sweep of his mental energy, he discovered the location of the Zerg hive and flew over immediately. Indeed, just like in the pictures, the Zerg hive was enveloped in a layer of green poisonous mist. Nuolan Shan took out an expensive antidote from his world ring, cast a layer of origin energy shield around himself, and then stepped into the poisonous mist. At first, everything was normal, but as he went deeper, the poisonous mist became thicker and thicker, and Nuolan Shan felt a wave of fatigue. With his universe rank strength, this situation absolutely should not have happened. Damn it, the toxin is too strong. Nuolan Shan cursed inwardly, took out another enhanced version of the antidote, and drank it. Only then did the feeling of fatigue disappear. HMPH. Nuolan Shan kicked his legs and dived in at an extremely fast speed. A minute later, he finally passed through the poisonous mist that could kill a universe rank warrior and arrived in front of the Zerg hive. He could, of course, have gone faster, but Nuolan Shan did not want to cause too much of a commotion, lest he awaken the Zerg Queen Mother. If that happened, even if he used all his trump cards, he would die. From the outside, the Zerg hive was a huge black sphere with a diameter of over 800 meters. Its surface was uneven and covered with carapace-like textures, resembling the heart of a giant creature. The shell was as hard as cosmic exotic metal, and dark green viscous poison continuously seeped out from the crevices. The poisonous mist surrounding it was the aura emitted by this poison. Good stuff. Star eating, you. Collect it. Seeing this poison, Nuolan Shan hurriedly ordered the star-eating grass to collect it. If the star-eating grass could refine it, its vines would be imbued with deadly poison, and even a world lord would die if poisoned. Yes, master. The star-eating grass immediately began to collect the poison using a special small green bottle. Nuolan Shan was not idle either. He mobilized his mental energy and carefully penetrated into the cracks of the hive. The interior of the hive was like a giant honeycomb, filled with dense, varied-sized insect egg incubation chambers. The passages were winding and tortuous, filled with dense, variously shaped insect race warriors standing in the passages like sculptures, still maintaining combat postures. It was clear that they had all stopped suddenly, just like robots that had been forcibly powered off. Passing through the passages, the space became increasingly spacious, and finally, they arrived at a place resembling a palace, which was evidently the residence of the Zerg Queen Mother. Entering the palace, he indeed saw a beautiful insect race creature standing there with dull eyes. She was the World Lord ranked Zerg Queen Mother, Irina. She was 12 meters tall, her entire body was semi-transparent like crystal, her skin was glowing white, she had a pair of butterfly-like transparent wings, and her body proportions were perfect. Although she was not from the human race, if she were to participate in a beauty pageant, she would surely outshine everyone. Nuolan Shan advanced with his mental energy, wanting to get closer to Irina's. His mental energy felt a sharp pain as if it had been slashed by a blade, and it suddenly retracted. Even though Irina was in a deep sleep, she would instinctively release mental energy to protect herself. The strength of her mental energy was something even average Undying could not compare to, let alone Nuolan Shan, who was only at the universe rank. As expected, it cannot be solved. Nuolan Shan rubbed his aching head. However, he had already known, this Zerg hive could not be solved. After all, in the original story, it was only after Luo Feng reached the Territory Lord rank that he completely defused this ticking time bomb. Currently, Nuolan Shan's strength could not compare to Luo Feng's strength when he was at the Territory Lord rank. The reason Nuolan Shan had rushed to Earth without stopping was actually because he had other intentions. Chapter 46, Marquee Level Escort. With the Zerg hive as the center, Nuolan Shan expanded his spiritual force to scan, mainly searching the underground area. Found it. Shortly after, Nuolan Shan felt his spiritual force being pulled and devoured by an unknown substance, and he immediately found what he was looking for, a palm-sized black metal plate. It was pure black throughout with no impurities, its surface smooth as a mirror, yet it could not reflect light nor project an image of a person. It was as if it were a black hole capable of devouring all things. That's right, it was indeed the metal plate forged by the mountain guest using Heaven's Soul Crystal, which carried the 9 Tribulations secret scripture. Nuolan Shan examined it, but could not see any text on it. It had to be unlocked by someone from Earth. However, even if he could see the 9 Tribulations secret scripture, Nuolan Shan would not cultivate it. Firstly, this scripture was Luo Feng's opportunity and could only be cultivated by one person. Secondly, he intended to gift this scripture to Luo Feng. Wahahaha. Nuolan Shan felt he was a genius himself. He would use Luo Feng's own item to gift to Luo Feng, and then he would receive a 1,000-fold return. Tisk tisk tisk, just thinking about it is exhilarating. He couldn't even imagine what kind of surprise the 9 Tribulations secret scripture would bring him after a 1,000-fold return. Thinking of this, Nuolan Shan couldn't help but want to return to Chulong Star immediately. The Master is calling. The Master is calling. Just at this moment, Nuolan Shan received an unfamiliar call request. The name displayed was Jin K, his direct superior's superior. A token gifted by him was still lying in Nuolan Shan's world ring. Nuolan Shan hurriedly answered the call and said respectfully, Lord Jin K. Besides Jin K, there was another person on the other end of the screen. It was a 3-eyed human race member with long brown hair, wearing a black battle suit. Most strangely, Jin K, a world lord, was actually standing respectfully behind this person. Nuolan Shan's pupils constricted. He knew this person must be an undying powerhouse, an absolute high-level figure in the Ganwu dojo. Jin K introduced him to Nuolan Shan. Nuolan Shan, this is the 13th Divine General. Nuolan Shan pays respects to Lord 13th Divine General. Nuolan Shan hurriedly bowed to the 13th Divine General. No need for formalities, the 13th Divine General said kindly, asking, Nuolan Shan, where are you right now? I did not see you at Chulong Star. What? Hearing this, Nuolan Shan was shocked. This meant that this dignified marquee-level Undying had actually lowered himself to come to the Chulong Star dojo to find a mere one-leaf Ganwu practitioner like him. Although Nuolan Shan knew his talent was exceptional, he didn't think he had such great face. After all, what he had shown externally was merely having just stepped into the threshold of the Law of Gold, barely enough to qualify for joining the Ganwu secret realm. However, shock aside, Nuolan Shan quickly replied, I am handling some matters in Luo Feng's hometown. I will return immediately. No need to rush. If you have matters to attend to, you can handle them first. I will wait for you at Chulong Star. The 13th Divine General appeared very approachable and considerate of his subordinates. But the World Lord Jin Kei behind him was stunned. This is my old leader, the 13th Divine General, who is usually hot-tempered and decisive in killing. No way, has he been subjected to possession by someone. It was abnormal, simply too abnormal. What did Nuolan Shan have? He was just a universe rank who had just stepped into the threshold of the law. Jin Kei even started to feel jealous, because he didn't have this kind of love. The 13th Divine General's words also made Nuolan Shan pause, and then he said, I have finished, I will return. Immediately. Very well. Jin Kei, you go and pick him up, so no blind fool causes trouble, the 13th Divine General ordered. Ah. Jin Kei pointed at himself, his face full of disbelief. Please, boss, I am a world lord ranked in the top 100 of the Ganwu universe country. You are asking me to pick up a universe rank, who is the subordinate of my subordinate. Are you mistaken? Where do I put my face? The 13th Divine General looked at Jin Kei with displeasure. Yes, Lord, I will go immediately. Jin Kei hurriedly agreed. The screen flickered, and he had already appeared in the starry sky, and the communication cut off. What was going on? Nuolan Shan was very confused. What did he have that was worth such courteous treatment from the dignified 13th Divine General? He hadn't even shown his talent yet. Had it been exposed accidentally? That shouldn't be, he hadn't fought anyone in years. Nuolan Shan hurriedly contacted Luo Feng, because Luo Feng was currently at the Ganwu dojo on Chulong Star. Teacher. Luo Feng answered the call immediately, looking at Nuolan Shan with anticipation. Nuolan Shan shook his head and said, I am very sorry. This is a World Lord rank Zerg hive, with my ability, it is not enough to solve it. To solve it, you still need to work hard and cultivate. World Lord. Luo Feng clenched his fists, his gaze becoming determined. He had a goal once again, an object he needed to protect. This point was very important. Without a clear goal, cultivation would become slack, become lax, and progress would become sluggish. Goals are both shackles and accelerators. Luo Feng, have you met the 13th Divine General? Nuolan Shan asked. I have, and Lord Jin Kei as well, Luo Feng nodded. Do you know what they are here for? Nuolan Shan asked. They didn't say specifically, only that they were here to find teacher. If I hadn't won first place in the genius battle, I wouldn't even have the qualification to pay respects to him, Luo Feng said. However, it seems he attaches great importance to teacher, even more than to me. That is strange. Very well, I will return now. You represent me and host Lord 13th Divine General well. Also, give my regards to Shu Xin, so it won't seem like I left without saying goodbye, Nuolan Shan said. Yes, teacher. Luo Feng acknowledged the order and hung up the phone. Nuolan Shan immediately took out his spaceship and flew at full speed toward Chulong Star, meeting Jin Kei, who had come to pick him up, halfway there. Jin Kei looked at Nuolan Shan's spaceship, which was more advanced than his own, and felt a bit bitter inside. The leader favors him, that's fine, but he's also damn rich. Is there any justice? Is there any law? You wouldn't happen to be the son of some high-level figure in the dojo, here at the grassroots level to experience life, would you? Lord Jin Kei, thank you for the trouble. Nuolan Shan remained respectful to Jin Kei, after all, he had helped him before. All right, don't keep Lord 13th waiting for too long. After Jin Kei finished speaking, he ordered the spaceship to turn around and return. Whoosh, whoosh. The two spaceships flew directly toward the Ganwu dojo. The 13th Divine General was actually standing at the entrance, as if he were welcoming the two of them. Jin Kei was so scared his legs went soft. If Nuolan Shan hadn't supported him, he probably would have made a fool of himself. Hello, Nuolan Shan. We have finally met. Seeing Nuolan Shan, the 13th Divine General took the initiative to greet him. Lord. Nuolan Shan was incomparably respectful, his body stiff. No need to be nervous. I have come to convey the country lord's divine decree, the 13th divine general said. Ah, hearing the 13th divine general say this, everyone was stunned. The Gamu country lord. That was a great universe exalt, undying were like ants in front of him. Such a high and mighty person, would he have any connection with? A mere one-leaf Gamu practitioner. The country lord's divine decree. The Gamu Dojo Chulong Star Branch Manager, one-leaf Gamu practitioner Nuolan Shan, has peerless teaching ability. He especially granted the title of Holy Mentor, promoted to teach in the Gamu secret realm, with status equivalent to an undying. The 13th Divine General announced loudly. Everyone gasped. Among them, Jin Kei's gasp was the loudest. Because he knew better than anyone what this represented. Generally speaking, only world lords had the qualification to become Gamu secret realm mentors. Nuolan Shan was merely a universe rank, and furthermore, he was granted a brand new mentor title, Holy Mentor. This was unprecedented. Finally, it added the phrase, status equivalent to an undying. Heavens, even he, Jin Kei, did not have such treatment. It was confirmed. Nuolan Shan was definitely the Gamu country lord's illegitimate son. Chapter 47, Bestowing the 9 Tribulations Secret Scripture. Nuolan Shan knew that by cultivating Luo Feng, the winner of the Universe Peak Genius Battle, he would inevitably be valued by the Gamu Dojo, but he never expected that this matter would actually alarm the Gamu country lord. The Gamu country lord was truly thirsty for talent beyond imagination. However, this was a massive stroke of luck for Nuolan Shan. He had originally planned to build his reputation as a renowned mentor so that geniuses would proactively come to him to seek apprenticeship. Now that he was honored as a holy mentor and would be teaching directly in the Gamu secret realm, his plan had not only succeeded but was overfulfilled. One must know that everyone who could enter the Gamu secret realm was a genius. Only those in the top 1,000 of the Gamu universe country during the genius battle were qualified to join. In other words, third-rate geniuses in the Gamu secret realm were as common as dogs, and he could pick and choose to his heart's content. He had already decided that once he arrived at the Gamu secret realm, he would make a breakthrough to the domain lord level, which would allow him to unlock a few more slots. Over these years, as his strength increased, his quota for taking disciples had risen to 3. 13th Divine General, may I bring one person into the Gamu secret realm? Nuolan Shan asked. You were referring to Bakalo, right? He has already comprehended the law of wind and is fully qualified to join the Gamu secret realm, the 13th Divine General smiled and said. Nuolan Shan was slightly stunned, but after thinking about it, he felt relieved. Since the 13th Divine General, a marquee-level powerhouse, had come in person, how could he not have investigated him thoroughly? Moreover, Bakalo had comprehended the law of wind while participating in the life and death battle under the gaze of everyone. A simple check would reveal it. Many thanks. 13th Divine General. Please wait a moment, I will go handle some matters here. Nuolan Shan bowed and exited the room. Afterward, he dialed Bakalo's communication number. The first call went unanswered. Nuolan Shan knew he must be cultivating crazily and had no time to answer the phone. So he kept calling, bombarding him with calls. By the 30th time, Bakalo finally answered the phone. Teacher, what happened? Bakalo asked hurriedly. His teacher had never called him so many times in a row before. Something major must have happened. Your junior brother Luo Feng won first place in the Universe Peak Genius Battle, and I have also been. What? First place in the Genius Battle? Before Nuolan Shan could finish speaking, his head was buzzing from Bakalo's shout. It wasn't that Bakalo was making a fuss over nothing, it was that he simply couldn't believe that the first place in the Genius Battle could be his junior brother. That junior brother, who was not even 40 years old, when did he become so strong? Bakalo's impression of Luo Feng was still stuck at the time when Luo Feng had just become an apprentice. Afterward, he had been cultivating crazily and hadn't even paid attention to the genius battle, as he felt it had nothing to do with him. He never expected that not only was the genius battle related to him, but his junior brother Luo Feng was the winner. This was an unprecedented achievement in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. It has already been several days. You shouldn't just focus on cultivating, you also need to pay attention to what's happening outside, otherwise, you will easily be eliminated by the times, Nuolan Shan said with annoyance. Yes, teacher. Bakalo replied respectfully. However, Nuolan Shan knew that Bakalo was a martial arts fanatic, and this temperament surely wouldn't change. Because you interrupted me, I forgot to mention the important matter. Where was I? Right, Luo Feng won first place in the genius battle, and I was simultaneously awarded the title of Holy Mentor and transferred to teach in the Ganwu Secret Realm. I recommended you to the 13th Divine General, so hurry up and pack your things. We are preparing to set off for the Ganwu Secret Realm, Nuolan Shan said. What? The Ganwu Secret Realm, me? Bakalo pointed at himself in disbelief. It wasn't that Bakalo hadn't seen the world, but as a citizen within the territory of the Ganwu Universe country, Bakalo naturally knew what the Ganwu Secret Realm represented in the Ganwu Universe country. It was a gathering place for true geniuses. Bakalo never belittled himself, but he also never thought of himself as some incredible genius, and he had never imagined that one day he could enter the Ganwu Secret Realm. Yes, it's you. Bakalo, don't you realize it yet? You have comprehended the law of wind, you have long been qualified to enter the Ganwu Secret Realm. Hurry up, don't make me say it a third time. The 13th Divine General is still waiting, and he is a marquee-level powerhouse, Nuolan Shan urged again. Okay, I'll be there immediately. Bakalo hurriedly hung up the phone and then rushed to pack his things in a flurry. After handling things with Bakalo, Nuolan Shan summoned Luo Feng to come over. Teacher, congratulations on becoming a holy mentor and being transferred to teach at the Ganwu Secret Realm. Luo Feng immediately congratulated Nuolan Shan. After all, the 13th Divine General's announcement was very loud, and unless someone was in seclusion, everyone could hear it. As your teacher, I also congratulate you on becoming the winner of the genius battle. After joining the primitive mystical region, I imagine you will soon catch up to me, and by then, I will have to rely on you for support, Nuolan Shan said with a smile. Teacher, you are joking. With your strength, if you were to participate in the genius battle at the astral rank, you would also be able to win first place, Luo Feng said. Modestly. Hee, Nuolan Shan laughed. From now on, you will go to the primitive mystical region, and I will go to the Ganwu Secret Realm. I don't know when we will meet again. Before we part, let me give you a farewell gift. After speaking, Nuolan Shan took out a black metal plate from his world ring. This is a special metal plate I accidentally obtained while investigating a Zerg hive. I studied it for several days without any clues, but the material is incredibly tough, even more advanced than your Chihan copper mother fragment. In the future, when your strength increases, you can use it to forge a few flying knives. Nuolan Shan naturally couldn't say that the 9 Tribulations secret scripture was recorded on the metal plate. He could only say the material was special and could be used to craft weapons for Luo Feng, even if it were split into 2 flying knives, since Luo Feng, as a psyker master, would find it useful. Thank you, teacher. Luo Feng took the metal plate without hesitation. Ding. Detected that the host has bestowed an item to disciple Luo Feng. Triggered a 1,000-fold return. The returned item has been stored in the host's world ring. Please check it. After Luo Feng took the metal plate, the system's voice rang out in Nuolan Shan's mind. Thump, thump, thump. Hearing this sound, even with Nuolan Shan's mental fortitude, his heartbeat couldn't help but accelerate. Luo Feng, you may go. Nuolan Shan waved his hand, sending Luo Feng away. He couldn't wait to check what the system had returned to him. 1,000-fold return on a secret scripture that was not tolerated by the primordial universe, just thinking about it was exciting. Plop. Unexpectedly, not only did Luo Feng not leave, but he knelt down before Nuolan Shan and kowtowed 3 times. What are you doing? Get up quickly. Nuolan Shan was bewildered by Luo Feng's kowtowing. Why was he suddenly bowing to him for no reason? However, Luo Feng did not get up, but said sincerely, thank you, teacher, for your grace in teaching me. Without your guidance over these years, there would be no me today. Nuolan Shan was stunned, but after reflecting on it, it was indeed true. Although Nuolan Shan had ulterior motives in taking Luo Feng as a disciple, if it weren't for Nuolan Shan's guidance over these years, Luo Feng would have been at most the third-place winner in the genius battle. How could he have possibly joined the primitive mystical region directly with a first-place result from the start? One must know that there was a huge gap between the highest beginning mythical region and the primitive mystical region in terms of the amplification of law comprehension. Everyone was a genius, and being one step ahead meant being ahead for a lifetime. In my hometown, when an apprentice completes their training, they must present a gift of gratitude to their teacher. I know you are not short of money, teacher, but please accept these 1,000 hunyuan. This is my gift of gratitude, Luo Feng said, holding up a card from the Universe Galaxy Bank. Seeing this, Nuolan Shan suddenly felt his nose itch and reached out a finger to scratch it. What teacher wouldn't like a disciple who knows how to repay gratitude? All right, you are a big tycoon now, so I won't stand on ceremony with you. Nuolan Shan did not refuse and accepted the bank card with a smile. Thump, thump, thump. Luo Feng kowtowed 3 more times to Nuolan Shan before saying goodbye. Teacher, this disciple is leaving. Go, hurry up and go. I'm still waiting to open the treasure chest. What will the 1,000-fold return of the 9 tribulations secret scripture be? Chapter 48, Gamu Secret Realm. Nuolan Shan's telekinetic power impatiently probed into the world ring to check, only to discover that what had been returned was not some metal plate, but a jade disc. As Nuolan Shan's telekinetic power swept over it, a secret technique instantly appeared in his mind. The name of the secret technique was 9-9 Mysterious Art, a supreme body-refining cultivation technique for cultivating the physical body and increasing one's gene multiplier. The 9 tribulations secret scripture, when cultivated to the highest level, the 9th tribulation, could increase the gene multiplier to 768 times, but the 9-9 Mysterious Art, when cultivated to the 9-9 level, could reach a terrifying 100,000 times gene multiplier. The concept of a 100,000 times gene multiplier is this: if you punch someone, it has the force of 1 punch, but the punch Nuolan Shan throws would have the force of 100,000 punches. This is completely cheating, it is bullying. Of course, what Nuolan Shan had bestowed upon Luo Feng was merely the first metal plate, which contained the first tribulation of the 9 tribulations secret scripture. Therefore, the 9-9 Mysterious Art, within the jade disc was also only a fragment, specifically the 1-9 level. However, if one were to successfully cultivate the 1-9 level, it could also increase the gene multiplier to 195.125 times, and by calculating it this way, one could reach the 100,000 times gene multiplier by the final 9-9 level. What is most precious is that the 9-9 Mysterious Art, unlike the 9 tribulations secret scripture which can only be cultivated at the territory lord rank, can be cultivated at the universe rank. However, the 9-9 Mysterious Art is more difficult to cultivate than the 9 tribulations secret scripture. Although it is only the 1-9 level, it is divided into 9 stages. The gene multiplier that the 1-9 level can increase is 195.12599, so the gene multiplier achievable at the first stage is approximately 21.68. Tisk tisk tisk, this is truly a massive project. Nuolan Shan sucked his teeth after seeing this. He roughly calculated that it would likely take 100 years to successfully cultivate this 1-9 level, and the subsequent cultivation difficulty would inevitably be greater. If one wanted to cultivate to the 9-9 level, the time required could not even be measured in years. At this moment, Nuolan Shan was in pain and happy at the same time. Teacher, I am ready. Bakalo appeared at the doorway, empty-handed, with only 2 battle sabers strapped to his back. Good, then let's set off. Nuolan Shan immediately stood up and took Bakalo to find the 13th Divine General. The 13th Divine General saw Nuolan Shan and Bakalo and nodded slightly, saying, then let us set off now. I will perform a direct Divine Kingdom teleportation. You may feel some discomfort as it is your first time being teleported by a Divine Kingdom. Many thanks for the warning, my lord. We will overcome it, Nuolan Shan stated. After the 13th Divine General spoke, Nuolan Shan immediately felt himself enveloped by a powerful force, followed by a sensation of weightlessness, dizziness, and an intense tearing sensation. He tried to control his body but found it unresponsive. Fortunately, this sensation did not last long. Nuolan Shan was soon able to steady himself in the void realm, and his heart immediately settled down. However, his stomach felt churningly nauseous, but since he was at the universe rank after all, he forcefully swallowed it back down, and Bakalo did the same. The 13th Divine General raised an eyebrow, very satisfied with the pair's performance. He had actually vomited the first time he was teleported by a divine kingdom. Such rich law energy. Sensing the dense law energy, Nuolan Shan could not help but look downward. It was a supercontinent with a diameter of approximately 10 light years. The stars in the sky above the continent were sparse, numbering less than 1,000. That dense aura of law was emanating from the continent below. That is the Gamu secret realm, which is divided into 9 continents, corresponding to the laws of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, and space-time, respectively. Each continent has a core treasure land, and the closer one gets to the center, the stronger the bonus to law comprehension. The 13th Divine General introduced to Nuolan Shan. That's not right, isn't it? There are clearly 10 types of laws, so why are there only 9 continents? Nuolan Shan asked in confusion. The 13th Divine General laughed. I knew you would ask that. Time and space are combined there, which is why it is also known as the space-time continent. Why is that? Nuolan Shan did not understand. It stood to reason that time and space were higher-order laws, which were harder to cultivate, so they should be separated to allow geniuses to comprehend them. Because they are higher-order laws, even a great universe exalt cannot completely isolate them, so they are simply left to exist together. However, the area of the space-time continent is the largest among the 9 continents. The 13th Divine General explained. I see. Nuolan Shan nodded, seemingly understanding. All right, you can learn about the rest later. Let's go down first. After the 13th Divine General finished speaking, he took Nuolan Shan and Bakalo and flew toward the continent. As they approached, a towering sacred mountain reaching 1,000,000 kilometers in height came into view. The sacred mountain stood in the very center of the continent, surrounded by a mysterious aura. That was the true core of the Gamu secret realm, and the palace of the Gamu country lord sat atop the peak, its divine radiance shining upon the secret realm like a sun. At the foot of the mountain was the Gamu divine city, where tens of thousands of palaces were connected, and the owners of these palaces were, without exception, undying spiritual gods. However, the 13th Divine General's destination was not there. Nuolan Shan had only been promoted and transferred to the Gamu secret realm by the Gamu country lord. It did not mean that he, a mere universe rank, had the qualifications to meet the Gamu country lord. The place where the 13th Divine General took Nuolan Shan and Bakalo was an area filled with pagodas, which was known as the Trial Tower area, or the Assessment area. This is the convention of the Gamu secret realm. Anyone who joins the Gamu secret realm must clear the Trial Tower, as this concerns your treatment within the secret realm. Of course, Nuolan Shan, you are a specially recruited talent, so no matter how many Trial Towers you clear, it will not affect your undying level resource treatment. However, clearing the Trial Tower can test your law cultivation, which will help in assigning you to reside on the corresponding law continent, which is helpful for improving law comprehension. The 13th Divine General explained. Greetings, Lord 13. The Trial Tower guard saw the divine light of the 13th Divine General from afar and hurried up to meet him. Chow Han, these two are here to participate in the assessment. Take them inside, the 13th Divine General said to the Trial Tower guard. Yes, my lord. Chow Han accepted the order, then politely said to Nuolan Shan and Bakalo, the two of you, please follow me. As the Trial Tower guard, Chow Han could be said to be the most well-informed person in the entire Gamu secret realm. Naturally, he knew Nuolan Shan's current status and position. It was equivalent to an undying, while he, Chow Han, was merely a world lord. I wonder which law Trial Tower the two of you wish to clear. Chow Han asked. Bakalo, you choose first. Nuolan Shan said. I specialize in the law of wind, so I will clear the Trial Tower of the Law of Wind, Bakalo said. Good, please come this way. After Chow Han spoke, an identical Chow Han actually walked out from his shadow. If one did not distinguish carefully, one would not even be able to tell the real from the fake. Nuolan Shan raised an eyebrow. He was worthy of being a world lord in the Gamu secret realm. He had some skills. And you, which law trial tower do you choose? Chao Han asked Nuolan Shan. I haven't decided yet. Nuolan Shan frowned and said. Huh. This statement left Chao Han baffled. He had been guarding the trial tower for 1,000,000 years and had never encountered such a thing. Don't you know what law you specialize in cultivating? Does this even require thought? It couldn't be that you, the holy mentor personally appointed by the Gamu country lord, haven't even comprehended a law yet, right? That wouldn't be the case, would it? Chapter 49, Challenging the Trial Tower. Chao Han looked at Nuolan Shan with a polite smile, definitely not mocking him for not having comprehended a law at the universe rank. Nuolan Shan thought for a moment and said, let's choose the fire trial tower first. After gestating the three-legged golden crow clone, Nuolan Shan had automatically comprehended the law of fire. He didn't use it much usually, but since he had the opportunity today, he would use it to avoid forgetting it. All right, this way please. Chao Han did not split off a shadow. Instead, his true self led Nuolan Shan toward the fire trial tower. The fire trial tower was not in the same area as the wind trial tower, and the trial tower appeared fire red. Its appearance could be said to be a complete copy of the trial tower from the Genius Battle. Of course, the Genius Battle's trial tower corresponded to astral rank strength, while this trial tower corresponded to universe rank strength. Boom, boom, boom. As Chao Han stood still under the tower door slowly opened. Nuolan Shan stepped inside and arrived at the first level of the trial tower. Suddenly, Nuolan Shan felt his vision blur, and his consciousness was forcibly pulled away. When he opened his eyes again, he was standing in a cold, empty, and boundless void realm of the universe. Beneath his feet was a massive meteorite nearly 100 kilometers long, suspended in the endless starry sky. On the meteorite, 7 trial towers stood like 7 towering mountains, lined up in a row. Each one was over 10 kilometers high, with its body covered in mysterious patterns, exuding an ancient and majestic aura. The 7-level trial tower that Nuolan Shan saw from the outside was merely an external manifestation. In reality, the trial tower was a technological product that pulled away consciousness to create a realistic illusion. Outsiders could judge which trial tower the examinee had passed by seeing which level of the trial tower lit up. It had to be said that the technology of the Gamu universe country still could not compare to the virtual universe. However, it was fortunate that although the Gamu secret realm was vast, there were only about 3,000–4,000 astral rank geniuses, 1,000–1,500 universe rank geniuses, about 500 territory lord rank, and about 40 to 50 world lord rank, totaling less than 7,000 people. Therefore, these trial towers were more than enough for use. As for the Undying, they did not need to participate in the assessment, or rather, the method of assessment was no longer the trial tower, but rather the Gamu country lord personally assessing them or the divine generals acting on his behalf. Let's begin then. Nuolan Shan familiarized himself slightly before entering the first trial tower. Just like in the Genius Battle, the opponents on the first level of the trial tower were 10,000 blood-furred mammoths, but they were not astral rank. They ranged from universe level 3 to level 9. Roar. Upon seeing Nuolan Shan, the herd of mammoths, under the command of a universe level 9, charged toward Nuolan Shan. So noisy. Nuolan Shan dug at his ear and threw a punch. The fist shadow was unimaginably huge, enough to envelop the herd of mammoths, and the fist shadow was also imbued with a wisp of true sun fire. Roar. The terrifying temperature instantly burned the herd of mammoths to nothing, and the first level was thus passed. No, not just the first level. Nuolan Shan used this method to pass the entire first trial tower, and he did so with ease and grace. When the first level lit up, even Chao Han, who had guarded the trial tower for 1,000,000 years, felt surprised. He had never seen a genius who passed the first level so quickly. This absolutely refreshed the clearance record for the first trial tower. As expected of the talent personally selected by the country lord. I wonder how many trial towers he can pass. Chao Han felt a faint sense of anticipation. After Nuolan Shan, Past the first trial tower, he automatically entered the second trial tower. The opponents on the first level of the second tower were still blood-furred mammoths, but their strength was greater. Any random one had mastered a domain. No matter how you change, I will burn you all with one fire. Nuolan Shan threw a punch, once again annihilating these blood-furred mammoths completely. Burn, burn, burn. Chao Han just watched the trial tower light up continuously, so shocked that his jaw nearly hit the ground. Fast, it was simply too fast. This terrifying clearance speed finally slowed down when he reached the 7th trial tower. The best record for passing the trial tower in this year's Genius Battle was Bolin, who successfully entered the 7th trial tower but fell on the first level. In other words, now that Nuolan Shan had passed the 6th trial tower, even if he stopped now, he could stand shoulder to shoulder with Bolin based solely on his talent in the Law of Fire. One must know that Bolin was called a genius who appeared once in 10 million years. 7th trial tower, come on. To express his respect for the 7th trial tower, Nuolan Shan chose throwing knives as his weapon. There were still 10,000 blood-furred mammoths, but each of them had reached the 9th level of domain and had also mastered some law to a greater or lesser extent. Roar! The herd of mammoths charged toward Nuolan Shan, the earth trembling. An invisible pressure, like a great mountain, came crashing down on Nuolan Shan one after another. Nuolan Shan's gaze turned cold, and 100 throwing knives imbued with true sun fire shot out. Some charged into the herd, others guarded Nuolan Shan. The terrifying temperature of the true sun fire meant that anything that got close would catch fire, and anything it grazed would vanish. Only the power of law could resist it slightly. However, the blood-furred mammoth's comprehension of the law was too low, they simply couldn't block it. Nuolan Shan was currently a crazy meat grinder, shredding every living creature visible to the eye. The first level was passed easily. Nuolan Shan frowned. Even he hadn't expected to pass the first level so easily, and he said with disdain, Bolin is nothing special. He didn't stop to think that the ability in the Law of Fire he had obtained was given by the three-legged golden crow clone. How could the talent of a three-legged golden crow be compared to mere Bolin? There were a total of 108 essences of the Law of Fire, and Nuolan Shan had already mastered 40 of them, which was double the limit of 20 for the human race at the universe rank. Previously, without comparison or reference, he hadn't known that his talent had already become this formidable. Since that's the case, let's clear it quickly. Knowing the standard of the 7th trial tower, Nuolan Shan stopped wasting time and began to exert his power. Boom! When Nuolan Shan burned the Zerg hive to nothing with one super-large fireball, the tip of the fire trial tower shot out a dazzling red pillar of light, illuminating half the sky. Past. Chao Han's eyes widened. He knew better than anyone what that pillar of light meant. In a million years, no genius had ever been able to achieve this feat. Because only after passing the 7 trial towers of the virtual world would the real trial tower shoot out a pillar of light. At the foot of the Divine Mountain, in a fire-red Undying Palace, lived a deity who had achieved the status of a Fengo Undying by relying on the Law of Fire, Huo Tun. When Huo Tun saw the pillar of light representing the clearance of the fire trial tower, he laughed loudly, "Ha ha ha, my disciple has finally appeared." The next second, he appeared in the assessment area and saw the 13th Divine General waiting there. 13th, why are you here? You cultivate the law of gold, are you trying to snatch my law of fire disciple? Don't blame me if I beat you up. Huo Tun had a fiery temper. As soon as he saw 13th there, he shouted angrily, and his whole body even began to burn with raging flames. However, it was no wonder Huo Tun thought this way. With the status and position of an Undying, except for taking on a disciple, they would generally not appear in the assessment area under normal circumstances. Chapter 50, Gamu Country Lord takes a disciple. The 13th Divine General hurriedly explained, "Fourth brother, you have misunderstood. I am not here to take a disciple, but rather to bring the holy mentor Nuolan Shan into the secret realm under the orders of the country lord. This is not according to the usual practice of bringing him here for an assessment. His assessment has not ended yet, and I am waiting for him to come out. It is best if you aren't, otherwise I would fall out with you. Chao Han, where have you gone? Come and see me immediately." Huo Tun roared. Fourth Divine General. Chao Han appeared before Huo Tun the next second. Where is my disciple? Why hasn't he come out yet? Huo Tun asked. Your disciple? Chao Han blinked in confusion. As far as he knew, Huo Tun's disciples were at least undying, and the rest had already died. How could an undying expert possibly come to the trial tower? The one who just cleared the fire trial tower, the 13th Divine General helped his fourth brother explain. Oh, you are referring to the Holy Mentor. He has already come out of the fire trial tower, Chao Han said. He now completely recognized the status of the Holy Mentor Nuolan Shan. Then where is he? Huo Tun asked anxiously. After coming out, the Holy Mentor requested to challenge the Law of Gold trial tower, and now he has. Holy crap, he cleared the 6th trial tower and is currently challenging the 7th. Chao Han used his clone to take a peek, and at a glance, even in front of an undying, he couldn't help but curse. Boom. Almost the next second after Chao Han finished speaking, the golden pillar of light representing the clearance of the Law of Gold trial tower shot into the sky. The 13th Divine General's mouth twitched, and he said, You wouldn't be telling me that the one who cleared the Law of Gold trial tower is still Nuolan Shan. It is indeed the Holy Mentor. Chao Han nodded. Ha ha ha, disciple, I am coming. Huo Tun didn't care about anything else and prepared to rush in immediately to snatch Nuolan Shan first. Clearing both the fire trial tower and the Law of Gold trial tower simultaneously, it had been many years since a genius with such talent had appeared in the Ganwu secret realm. Fourth brother, wait, I haven't taken a disciple yet. The 13th Divine General immediately refused and blocked Huo Tun's path. Get lost. Didn't you say you weren't here to take a disciple today? Huo Tun raged. I didn't know he had such high talent in the Tao of the Law of Gold. Fourth brother, you have more disciples than I do, so let this one be mine. The 13th Divine General pleaded. Nonsense. Disciples should be valued for their quality, not quantity. With this one disciple, I won't take any more in the future, I'll give them all to you. Stop the damn nonsense. Are you moving or not? If you don't move, I'm going to beat you up. Huo Tun roared. Beat me up. Fourth brother, although you broke through to the marquee level earlier than I did, if we really fight, I am not necessarily weaker than you. The 13th Divine General also got angry. Chao Han retreated, and retreated again. The two great Divine Generals were about to fight. As a small fry, he had to find a safe corner to hide in and, by the way, activate the protective barrier of the assessment area. Situations where people fought over disciples had occurred in the assessment area before, which is why a powerful barrier was set up here. It was unknown whether it could block the aftermath of a marquee-level battle. Oh, my temper. Upon hearing this, Huo Tun could no longer hold back and struck first, throwing a fireball at the 13th Divine General. Break. The 13th Divine General slashed with his hand, easily shattering Huo Tun's fireball. Fourth brother, is that it? The 13th Divine General laughed. Ah, my temper. The 4th Divine General was almost angered to the point of vomiting blood and began to launch a frenzied attack on the 13th Divine General. However, although they were fighting, they tacitly controlled their power at the World Lord rank. After all, even in the Ganwu secret realm, the Battle of the Undying possessed extremely strong destructive power. In fact, even if it was just a battle at the World Lord rank, the commotion caused was thunderous. For a time, many experts gathered around, some came to watch the excitement, and some rushed over to take a disciple. With so many undying in the Ganwu secret realm, it wasn't just these two divine generals who cultivated the law of fire and the law of gold. Nuolan Shan, of course, did not know that two marquee-level undying had already started fighting to take him as a disciple. After clearing the Law of Gold trial tower, he entered the Law of Thunder trial tower. The result was no surprise, he cleared it again, although the speed was slightly slower. What, he even cleared the Law of Thunder trial tower. I want this disciple too. 4th, 13th, come on. The 5th Divine General joined the fray. Subsequently, as Nuolan Shan cleared the Law of Thunder trial tower and the Law of Light trial tower, over 100 undying had joined the battle. Although nothing was explicitly stated, everyone tacitly felt that whoever won the fight would have Nuolan Shan as their disciple. Mine Mine. Brilliant, truly brilliant. Chao Han watched with great interest, almost wanting to munch on melon seeds. This kind of scene was something he had seen only once in his life, as all 18 divine generals had joined the battle. Any camaraderie was thrown aside when it came to snatching a disciple. Chao Han, what happened? Nuolan Shan asked, patting Chao Han, who was entranced. Holy mentor, you have come out. Chao Han hurriedly stood straight and respectfully replied, they started fighting to take you as a disciple. If you need it, I can recommend one for you, I know them all very well. Let's wait until I clear the space-time trial tower, Nuolan Shan said. Choosing a teacher at this moment was difficult, he really didn't know who to choose, so he decided to wait. You also know the supreme law. Chao Han was stunned. Holy mentor, aren't you a bit too monstrous? How come others have 24 hours in a day, but you have 240 hours? How can you comprehend so many laws at the same time in such a short period? It took me millions of years to comprehend just one law of light. It's all right. Please take me there. Please this way, this way. Chao Han hurriedly and cautiously led the way for Nuolan Shan. Holding the cosmic divine weapon, Nuolan Shan slaughtered in all directions inside the space-time trial tower, sweeping all the way through, and cleared the space-time trial tower at a speed far exceeding that of the fire trial tower. This is not, all right, this is clearly insane, Chao Han exclaimed. Boom. As the pillar of light from the space-time trial tower shot into the sky, the Undying's battle for the disciple came to an abrupt halt. Then, with a bang, all the Undying were no longer calm and erupted with the power of the Undying. Mine. Huo Tun, you have no martial virtue. I'll fight you to the death. Boom, boom, boom. The entire assessment area, even with the barrier's protection, shook violently. Everyone participating in the assessment was forced out of the assessment, and their bodies regained consciousness. Have you had enough? A majestic voice rang out. At the same time, a giant in golden robes shrouded in light appeared above the assessment area. All the Undying present stopped and bowed respectfully, saying, Greetings, country lord. You little brats, you are really making a scene, the Gamu country lord reprimanded. Forgive us, country lord. The Undying all lowered their heads in shame, having a bad premonition in their hearts. Sure enough, they heard the Gamu country lord say, how many years has it been? My Ganwu, secret realm has finally produced a peerless genius. Come, little fellow, let your master see you. The Gamu country lord grabbed at the void realm, and Nuolan Shan felt a wave of dizziness. In an instant, he was brought from the space-time trial tower to the front of the Gamu country lord. Lord 13th, what happened? Among the big shots present, Nuolan Shan only knew the 13th divine general, so when he couldn't figure out the situation, the first thing he thought of was to ask him. Your Highness, the one in front of you is our country lord, the 13th divine general introduced, and he directly addressed Nuolan Shan as Your Highness. Nuolan Shan had no time to pay attention to the title of Your Highness at this moment, he was stunned by the identity of the person in front of him. Nuolan Shan hurriedly knelt and bowed, saying, Nuolan Shan pays respects to the great Gamu country lord. Rise, rise. The Gamu country lord satisfiedly helped Nuolan Shan up and then said, Good disciple, come home with your master. What master? What home? When did I, Nuolan Shan, become a disciple of the Gamu country lord? Swoosh. Before Nuolan Shan could react, he was already being held by the hand by the Gamu country lord and brought to the temple at the peak of the sacred mountain. Sigh, a group of Undying let out long sighs, looking as depressed as if they had missed out on a billion. This should have been my disciple. HMPH. All the Undying looked at each other with displeasure, and sparks of battle intent crackled there. Huo Tun was especially unhappy. If it hadn't been for these bastards interfering, he would have taken Nuolan Shan as a disciple earlier, and he wouldn't have ended up being intercepted by the country lord. However, heavens, how could there be such a prodigy in the world? Even Kidi, who was hailed as the #1 genius of the human race, could not compare to him in talent. For such a talent, indeed, only a venerable like the country lord was qualified to teach him. In Primordial Chaos City, the Primordial Chaos City Lord woke up from his seclusion and checked the information from these years as the first thing, among which was one about Nuolan Shan. To be able to use a cosmic divine weapon at the universe rank, not bad, not bad. Check where he is right now.